Five Guys is one of the many quick service chains that have swept across the country, and the restaurant's quirks are part of the reason why. The untold truth of Five Guys is that quality ingredients and a few marketing tricks elevated them to a level where they could refuse to serve the Pentagon. While it might be one of the fastest-growing restaurant chains in the world, according to Forbes, the decision to franchise while maintaining high-quality food is what fueled their expansion, enabling them to sell more than 300 options for units in 18 months. Of course, the public's need for crispy, seemingly endless French fries was also helpful. Five Guys takes French fries quite seriously. They only use potatoes grown in Idaho above the 42nd parallel to ensure they have the right texture and flavor. The company also doesn't believe in freezers, which means that the fries are never frozen.
When you go out of the ground into the bag and to the store without stopping at the freezer, you have to have the best quality potatoes.
The quick service cooks only use peanut oil to fry the potatoes too, which gives them a rich, buttery flavor that melts in your mouth. Finally, the potatoes are twice fried, once to pre-cook, and a second time to get them perfectly crisp with a soft interior. Once the spuds are fried, they're shaken exactly 15 times before being served. This carefully honed technique is designed to keep everything in order with the Five Guys science of burgers and fries. If you've ever been to a Five Guys restaurant, then you know that regardless of what size you order, there's always a topper, which is that extra scoop of fries piled into the bottom of the bag. The idea behind giving customers so many extra fries is that the guests think they're getting a great deal. The extra fries, however, are factored into the menu pricing, so it really is just an illusion of receiving more than your money's worth. According to Reader's Digest, the founder of the restaurant, Jerry Morrell, it's better for customers to feel that their serving of fries was too large. As he explained to Food Republic, "People complain that they get too many fries. I just tell them to make hash browns with the leftovers. I teach my managers that if people aren't complaining, then you're not giving them enough. Whether you're hungry or just need those extra fries in the bag to dip in a thick and creamy milkshake, there should never be a shortage when you eat here." While some people complain that the brand creates too much waste by only serving food in to-go fashion, this is also what allows them to provide those extra fries. Without the paper bag, there would only be a cup of fries and no topper. While the topper might be a clever marketing ploy, you can always continue to think the Five Guys employees are simply treating you to some extra fries for being awesome. Though the menu is often touted as simple, there are supposedly about 250,000 options available for customizing your burger order. Presumably, one of those options includes piling fries onto your burger, but the possibilities for ordering French fries might be limitless. If you are someone who values the crispiest fries in the bag above the rest, then you can order all of the fries that crisp at Five Guys. To get an order of perfectly crisp fries, though, ask for them to be extra well done. This should yield a cup and a topper of nothing but incredibly crunchy French fries made for munching and dipping. Other customizable ideas include making your own sauce or mixing in Cajun seasoning. The menu offers mayo, ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce, A1 sauce, and hot sauce as a part of their free toppings. This means you can mix any of your favorite sauces for your own signature dipping sauce. Don't forget that it can be combined with their Cajun fries too, for an extra kick. Most fast food, quick service, and coffee shops have a secret menu these days, and Five Guys certainly does as well. One employee suggests trying confetti fries, which have barbecue sauce, mayo, and Cajun spices added on top before being tossed in the bag to lightly coat the crispy potatoes. Another secret menu item is cheese fries. Just ask for a bit of cheese on your fries when you order. With so many options, all of those extra fries might be even more tempting than before.
The growth of the Five Guys burgers and fries chain is nothing short of amazing, and the story behind it will make you believe anything is possible. With founders who have remained an integral part of their company, franchisees who aren't just buying a brand name but an entire formula, and a company built from the ground up, Five Guys has a story that embraces what the American dream once was, and still can be. Choosing to cook. Five Guys' founding father, Jerry Morrell, hails from a middle-class Michigan family, which encouraged him to go to college. He didn't enjoy his own educational experience much, though, so when it came time to send his sons to college, he gave them a choice. The money he'd saved for their education was theirs, and they could either each go to college or, as a family, decide to pool the money to start a restaurant. Not only would it give his kids a legacy, but it would let them work together, and their limited menu concept was a sweeping success.
We stuck to our guns, kept it simple, and the press liked this.
What's in a name? The name Five Guys couldn't be more straightforward. Morel and his sons decided on the name to describe themselves. Father Jerry, sons Matt, Jim, and Chad from his first marriage, and son Ben from his second. But when youngest son Tyler was born, the name didn't quite fit anymore, so he unofficially removed himself from the name roster so that the Five Guys he refers to are his kids. And all remain key players in the business. While their father oversees everything, Jim and Matt travel the country and visit locations. Chad is in charge of training, Ben works with the franchise owners and selects new applicants, and Tyler runs the bakery. Morel's second wife, Janie, is also involved in the business as their bookkeeper. Finding a franchise. Five Guys opened its doors in 1986, and it's only continued to grow ever since. The chain saw an almost unthinkable 792% growth between 2006 and 2012, but that global expansion almost didn't happen. At first, the Morels, especially Jerry, were content with opening just a few restaurants in the same area. They had complete control, kept the menu the same, and experimented with very few new things. But Matt bought a copy of Franchising for Dummies, written by Wendy's Dave Thomas. And at the same time, former Washington Redskins kicker Mark Mosley was pondering the future of his own burger joint. In a case of right place, right time, Mosley got on board with Five Guys and kicked off their franchising efforts. They found out quickly how right of a decision it was when franchising rights in Virginia sold out in 3 days, and the rest is fast food history. No timers. There are a ton of things to keep track of in any kitchen, but take a close look at any Five Guys kitchen and you'll notice there's something missing. Timers. Jerry Morel says they're not necessary because good cooks know when a burger is done. Those burgers are thin for a reason too, and that dates back to the early days of Five Guys. The first burgers they experimented with were thicker, but they dried out too fast. So thinner burgers gave them the taste and texture they were looking for, and patrons seemed to enjoy the choice. No VIP deliveries. Getting a phone call from the U.S. government might ordinarily throw a restaurant into a tailspin, but when Five Guys was asked for 15 burgers to be delivered to the Pentagon, Morel refused. He told QSR, "We've never had a delivery service. We don't believe in it. We think it cheapens the product." Not only did they refuse, but they hung a massive banner outside their Arlington store that read, "Absolutely no delivery."
Putting a sign in your window that says we deliver is a sign that you're probably maybe in trouble.
The move was risky since the Pentagon's 26,000 employees were a huge part of the location's customer base, but it worked. Business reportedly went up about 20%, and even Barack Obama stopped by in 2009, after they also refused to offer any delivery service to the White House because some foods are worth trekking out for.
We're gonna go get some burgers.
Fresh fries. Five Guys gets their potatoes almost exclusively from Idaho, and only north of the 42nd parallel to boot.
Those potatoes grow slower than a potato from the south, which makes them denser.
They buy so many of them, they account for 5% of the entire state's potato sales. 2 months of the year, however, the growing season dictates they switch to Washington state potatoes. And the reason their fries are so tasty goes well beyond source consistency. After hand cutting them, Five Guys fry crew members give the raw potatoes a 3-minute power wash to get rid of the extra starch. And they're pre-cooked for 2.5 minutes before being cooled for anywhere from 10 minutes to a few hours. Once they're ordered, they're finished off with another 2 to 3 minutes in the fryer, shaken off exactly 15 times, and served up to the customers. Mystery shoppers. There's a lot about the way Five Guys does business that's unconventional, and that includes their approach to getting the word out. According to Bestmark, the reason you've never seen a Five Guys commercial or billboard is that they use that cash to hire mystery shoppers to visit their restaurants and do a full evaluation. This keeps employees on their toes, ensures their customers have a great experience, and those experiences turn into word-of-mouth advertising. Anyone who's worked in retail knows just how terrifying the prospect of a mystery shopper is. But Five Guys turns it into a major rewards program. Director of Communications and Marketing Molly Catalano told QSR Magazine they hand out a huge amount of money as bonuses for meeting mystery shopper goals. Every week, the top 200 restaurants are each given between $900 and $1,300 to split among employees, which means there's a chance they can win a bonus every single week. That's quite an incentive to hustle. So if your local Five Guys crew seem to keep some serious pep in their steps during your next visit, it might be because they suspect you're a shopper spy that might earn them some extra cash.
You go to a fast food or fast casual restaurant to save time, right? The keyword is fast. So avoid asking this question that a Five Guys employee insists you don't need to. We all know there are tons of secrets within the fast food restaurant industry, whether it's about Dairy Queen's chicken, the ice cream machines at McDonald's, or the fact that Pizza Hut's stuffed crust pizza is made by adding string cheese to the crust, at least according to a former employee on Reddit. The list goes on, and it seems to get longer now that restaurant workers with phones and TikTok accounts are revealing even more fast food secrets. Sometimes the higher-ups at the fast food chains would rather keep these things a secret, and the employee gets in trouble. Some TikTokers whose fast food exposés have gone viral might have been fired as a result, including a Chick-fil-A worker who revealed a way to custom order a seasonal drink that's better than the one on the menu for the same price. But sometimes places have secrets that are actually positive. A TikToker might reveal something behind the scenes at a fast food restaurant that makes us want to visit them even more. Five Guys employee Maison Henix shared a few such tidbits on his TikTok account, where the videos quickly went viral. The videos and some subsequent interviews with Henix available online revealed that a lot of the food at Five Guys is fresher than it is at some other fast food establishments. The first TikTok video Henix posted from his workplace, showing how whole potatoes are cut and washed on the way to becoming French fries, has been viewed more than 22 million times. In a separate video, Henix described how the fries are pre-cooked for 2 minutes in one fryer, then moved to another fryer for a second cook. The employee, who works at a Five Guys location in Shreveport, Louisiana, told Insider one thing customers should realize is they don't need to ask for their fries well done. Every order of fries is well done, but if you want them crunchier than usual, Henix said you can ask for extra crispy. In another TikTok video, Henix explained how he knows when he's added enough seasoning to Five Guys Cajun fries.
My manager always told me, if you ain't sneezing, you ain't pleasing.
Henix had a lot more to say about what Five Guys customers need to know. He dished in a separate Insider article about how Five Guys gets its burgers to be so juicy and mouthwatering. The 3-step process he outlined ensures every patty is both well done and, quote, leaking, as Henix put it. Henix told Insider, so when you bite into it, it will be satisfying. We know some fast food employees have been fired for revealing company secrets on TikTok, but Five Guys might want to consider giving their self-appointed PR guy in Shreveport a raise. Another piece of advice Henix had for customers was to be aware of the chain's prices before walking in the door for the first time. Henix told Insider, we have some customers that just come in, look at our prices, and just walk right out. Even worse, customers will get angry at him when he's working the register, once they realize Five Guys doesn't have the discounted combo meals you can find at some other fast food chains. Henix's advice? Check the prices online first so you go in knowing what you're going to pay. Henix had more words of wisdom for customers in a separate Insider article. Five Guys might be pushing the boundaries of what qualifies as fast food, but Henix said you should get your meal within 8 minutes of ordering it. Henix told Insider, so we're going to get your food out quick. Or at the very least, not too slowly, considering that every burger is cooked to order. Cashiers speed up the process by calling out the number of patties while the customer is ordering them. Secondly, all the food at Five Guys is fresh. According to the Five Guys website, there are no freezers in any of its restaurants. When you consider the fresh beef patties and the French fries made in-store from whole potatoes, Henix says the higher prices customers sometimes complain about are justified. The TikTok famous employees said customers should know that everything at Five Guys is fresh, because maybe then they'd be willing to pay a little more.
When you want to satisfy an intense burger craving, there's one place to go: Five Guys. We all know that a Five Guys burger is amazing, but what exactly makes it so good? Let's talk about the secrets of some of the best burgers around. Five Guys won the Harris Poll's Burger Brand of the Year award in 2017 and 2018, beating In-N-Out Burger both years, which is no easy feat considering how passionate people are about In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out, In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger is all about.
They've also come out on top of 17 other burger chains, including the usual suspects like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and Carl's Jr., and even the more posh burger spots Whataburger and Shake Shack. And that speaks volumes about their legions of fans. In-N-Out may have regained the title in 2019, but holding that honor for 2 years is something to be proud of, and it shows just how much people love Five Guys. Why do we love them so much? Five Guys is known for two things: burgers and fries. They also offer hot dogs, and you can get a grilled cheese on the same bun and with the same cheese that's used for a burger, if you're the type of person who actually orders grilled cheese at a restaurant. But here's the thing. Five Guys doesn't serve chicken sandwiches or filet-of-fish sandwiches or rib sandwiches or fancy salads. It's burgers and fries. They focus on making those things great, and they're clearly succeeding. As of 2013, Americans were eating about 50 billion burgers a year, which equals out to about 3 juicy hamburgers per person per week.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
About 60% of all sandwiches purchased worldwide are actually hamburgers, and that just shows Five Guys has some serious critics to please. To co-opt another slogan from another burger chain, you can definitely have it your way at Five Guys because they offer 15 different toppings to choose from. These include mayo, ketchup, mustard, A1 sauce, barbecue sauce, hot sauce, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, relish, grilled mushrooms, green peppers, and jalapeno peppers. You can choose as many of these toppings as you want for free, and heck, you can stick all 15 of them in your burger if that's what you're into. Compare this to the standard burger you can order at Burger King, which comes with ketchup, mustard, and pickles. Or the McDonald's hamburger, which offers the same condiments as BK, with the addition of a few chopped onions. Sure, there's something to be said for the simplicity of a burger with just ketchup and mustard, but having the option to add as many as 15 toppings to the situation is one of the things that makes Five Guys burgers so delicious and crave-worthy.
I want one.
And thanks to those 15 toppings, there are a whole lot of ways that customers can satisfy whatever their cravings are. The combinations are basically endless, and it doesn't matter how big of a fan you are, you're just never going to get to try them all. Sorry, that's because there are more than 250,000 ways to customize a burger. It's no surprise that fans of this fast food joint are pretty passionate about their favorite combos. In fact, just thinking about them is enough to make you grab your car keys and head to your local Five Guys to explore some of these crazy delicious sounding options.
I want one.
Sure, you can order 15 different toppings and customize your burger about 250,000 ways, but that doesn't mean all those toppings are going to be piled on all willy-nilly. That would be chaos, and yes, the order really does matter when it comes to quality. Five Guys has a specific way of placing add-ons onto your burger for the ultimate yum factor. Onions and bacon go underneath the patty, while tomatoes and pickles go on top of it. Burger aficionados have many different opinions on what the actual correct placement of condiments and toppings on a burger are, but it appears that Five Guys does it so the warm toppings stay with the warm toppings, and the cool toppings mingle together separately. There's also a lot of speculation about why Five Guys puts your French fry order on top of your burger in the brown bag it comes in. When this question was posted on Reddit, a commenter responded, "I always thought this was so that the burger just gets a little bit warmer. The cheese melts a little more, the bun gets a little steamy and soft." Even though you can customize your burger at Five Guys a gazillion different ways, there's one way you can't customize it: how much it's cooked. No, you can't get it bloody or still mooing or even medium rare, because every burger cooked at Five Guys is prepared well done. But that's a good thing. Five Guys hasn't officially explained the reasoning behind this policy, but it's likely that safety is one of the concerns. There are some major health risks associated with eating raw meat, including the consumption of bacteria like E. coli and salmonella. Because of these risks, the FDA advises that ground beef be cooked to a minimum internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And even if you opt for making your burger a little differently at home, well, you should be grateful Five Guys goes a little further with theirs. No one wants a side of salmonella with their burger. The hamburger buns used for Five Guys burgers are the perfect vehicle to get that juicy slab of meat into your mouth. They're soft, fluffy, and perfectly toasted on the grill. Five Guys doesn't use a standard bun toaster because it doesn't give you that caramelized taste that cooking them directly on the grill does. Can you imagine a Five Guys burger without that slight char on the bun? Perfect toastiness aside, the buns only contain a few ingredients, and they're basically the same ingredients that are in your average cake. They also contain twice as many eggs as normal buns, which explains their dreamy texture. On Ink, founder Jerry Murrell explains where these magical buns come from. "We make the same bun we started with. We hired the old guy who used to bake our bread for the first store and one of his partners.
My bakery was 2 doors from the restaurant, and I went in and told them they needed a better bread."
They work in the Virginia bakery. We have 10 bakeries scattered around the nation. Our bread is baked daily, picked up by 3 p.m., and put on a truck or plane so every store gets fresh bread every morning, even if they are 400 miles away from the nearest bakery. As they say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Did you know that the Green Bay Packers have an official bacon? Well, they do, and it happens to be the same kind of bacon that Five Guys uses on all of their burger offerings with bacon. If it's good enough for the Packers, it's good enough for you. Just what makes it so special? Five Guys bacon is applewood smoked, and that's important. Why? It's all about the flavor.
Nothing burps better than bacon.
Bacon Today had this to say about what makes applewood smoked bacon incredible. Applewood chips result in bacon that is mildly sweet and smoky. It is the second most popular wood used after hickory, as it results in bacon that is perfectly balanced between smoky and sweet. You can definitely taste that perfectly balanced flavor on each and every one of Five Guys bacon burgers, and if you haven't yet, try out one of the bacon burgers on your next visit. Or if you want to skip the burger altogether, you can also simply order a BLT with extra bacon because it's the good stuff. Not that other stuff.
Would you like to sample our vegan bacon? 100% meatless.
Yes, please.
You aren't going to get some weird pre-formed freezer-burned patty when you order a burger from Five Guys because their stores don't even have freezers. Everything is made fresh to order. Five Guys is so committed to freshness that it takes an entire 3 hours to open the restaurants each day because everything from the burgers to the produce that is sliced and chopped to go on your burgers is prepared that morning. They also use wireless freshness sensors. And to get all technical and fancy about it, the RFID Journal explains it like this. The system uses active 900 MHz sensors from 0.6 wireless and helps to ensure that raw ingredients are stored at a safe temperature and are not served if they have exceeded their approved temperature threshold. In other words, technology is making sure you aren't going to get some germ-ridden, warm, slimy lettuce on your burger that could make you sick. And that's a great use for today's modern technological marvels. One of the coolest things about the burgers at Five Guys and why their burgers are such a great value is that their standard burger isn't even a burger at all. It's 2 burgers. That's a lot of beef for your buck.
There's 2 of them!
If you just can't deal with that much beef, you can request a little burger, which is a single patty. But let's be honest, it's a double every time, right? As with all good things, there's a catch. All this delicious cow comes at a hefty nutritional price point. If you opt for that little burger, you're going to be getting a meal clocking in at 542 calories and 26 grams of fat. Numbers that will, of course, vary with whatever toppings you decide to layer on. Upgrade that to a bacon cheeseburger, and you're looking at 1,064 calories and 62 grams of fat. Plus, again, all those toppings you'll pick. If you're one of those that likes mayo on your burger, you can add another 100 calories to that total. And just in case a double isn't enough, you can definitely pile on another patty or 2 for just a tad bit extra, if that's the way you roll. You only live once after all. Oh, that's too much? Order your burger in a bowl and cut out the bun altogether. Any way you slice it, that's still a huge amount of calories for just one meal. But isn't that a huge part of what makes something taste oh so good? Tomorrow's another day, right?
This is definitely what I'm having on my cheat day.
Considering the fact that your burger is made from scratch, Five Guys does a great job of getting you fed rather quickly. Sure, it may take a few minutes longer than ordering a burger from a place with the clown as their mascot, but Five Guys is more of a fast casual restaurant than a fast food joint. They hand form all the patties, they grill the bun. They also don't use any timers in their restaurants, and that's because they always say their cooks are good enough to know when a burger is just the right amount of done. Your burger will be served fresh to you when it's done, and it won't sit under some heat lamp waiting for anyone to come in and order it, and that's a good thing. No, Five Guys won't take as long as a sit-down restaurant with silverware and cloth napkins, but if the restaurant is busy, you can expect to wait a bit.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah! That's what all of those free peanuts are there for, so you can chow down while you wait for your burger to be prepared. Five Guys has 2 important things going for it: excellent customer service and happy employees. Both of those things make any meal more enjoyable, and it's impossible to stress just how much better a burger tastes when it's handed to you by someone who's smiling. And according to those who have worked there, it's not just an act. One former employee took to Reddit to talk about just what it was like to work at Five Guys, saying, "Fun for the most part, due to the fact that it's an open kitchen, the employees are encouraged to joke around and have fun, even to the point of all-out dancing, as long as you can keep on track with the job you're doing. If your food is prepared with happiness, it's just going to taste better. No one wants a burger made by some angry dude who hates their job." If you really want to make the most out of your trip to Five Guys, you need to make sure you don't mess up your order. Take note of these mistakes everyone makes when ordering a burger at Five Guys so you can avoid making them yourself. A big part of what makes Five Guys stand out from the competition is the almost unlimited options for burger customization. Five Guys customers have more than 250,000 ways to top a burger, so it comes out just to their specifications. That gives you no excuse not to get creative when it comes to designing your ideal burger. The best part is, with few exceptions, all of the toppings you can choose from on the menu are free. They range from the classics, ketchup, mustard, relish, onions, to more unusual choices, hot sauce, grilled mushrooms, jalapeno peppers. While it might be tempting to order the same thing every time you go to Five Guys, the Smart Cookies take advantage of all the topping options you can't get anywhere else.
I get it with mayo, extra hot sauce, and extra bacon.
Extra hot sauce?
Yes.
Is that what I should try?
It's very, very good.
There are plenty of chain restaurants out there that offer secret menus with items that don't appear on the normal menu, so those in the know can take advantage. But the secret menu at Five Guys takes it to another level. Perhaps the most famous item is the double grilled cheeseburger. It's basically 2 rich, melty grilled cheese sandwiches with a burger patty between them. There's plenty of cheese and all the extra toppings you could ever dream of. If that sounds like perhaps a bit too much for your stomach to handle, there are plenty of other items to choose from, including the patty melt and the burger bowl. Next time you stop in at Five Guys, be sure to expand your horizons. The fries at Five Guys are super fresh. You may even see bags of potatoes around the store. The chain doesn't use frozen, pre-sliced fries. They make them fresh in the store from real potatoes. Yes, the very ones in those bags. Fresh French fries just taste better, which is already a reason to love Five Guys. But this chain takes its fry game to an even higher level by loading customers up with a ton of potato-y goodness.
A board shows where the spuds come from each day.
Five Guys will give you the standard scoop in a fry container, but then they'll put a second scoop in your bag just so you feel like you're getting more. While most customers are happy to get more of the good stuff, not everyone wants that many fries, nor the greasy bag that goes hand in hand with all those extras. In most cases, a small order is enough fries for 2 people to gorge themselves on, and a large order can easily feed a table of 4. Don't make the mistake of paying for everyone in your party to get their own order of fries, or at least half of them will end up in the trash. Don't want to waste? You can always ask the staff to leave out your extra scoop. Lots of food connoisseurs won't eat beef unless it's red or pink in the middle. Well done might as well be anathema to them. But don't dare to try to order a medium rare burger at a Five Guys because they simply won't make it for you. The chain only sells well-done burgers, no exceptions. This policy probably has to do with food safety. As delicious as a medium rare burger is, it's not technically safe to eat. Unlike steak, burgers have to be cooked all the way through, since the surface of the meat, where the harmful bacteria can grow, is incorporated into the whole burger during the grinding process. Five Guys is likely just covering its bases and making sure its customers don't get sick. That said, even though the chain's burgers are cooked through, they're still as juicy as can be. Five Guys' full name is Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The restaurant tells you what it's good at right there in its title. While many fast casual burger restaurants will offer a ton of other food options, the same can't be said for Five Guys. Apart from the burgers, milkshakes, and fries, you're not getting to see much else on the menu. But they do have hot dogs. Now, let's get this straight. We love hot dogs, and we are huge proponents of this classic American treat. We would never badmouth the hot dog in general, but it should be done well, and Five Guys hot dogs don't really make the cut. The bread is soggy, the meat is average, and the toppings, not our favorite. Somehow putting a slice of American cheese on a normal run-of-the-mill hot dog doesn't do much for it. Add to the fact that the hot dogs here are ridiculously expensive compared to the hot dogs you can find at other fast food joints, and you'll see why it's something you should pass up when you order from Five Guys. Just go with a burger. Five Guys added hand-spun milkshakes to its menu back in 2014. These aren't just your basic milkshakes either. If you want to take your classic vanilla milkshake up a notch, you can also get flavors like coffee, salted caramel, and even bacon, which may sound strange, but might just be the best item on the menu if you love a good sweet and salty mix. Here's some bad news though. You won't be able to find the milkshakes at every location. The online menu stipulates that milkshakes are only available at participating locations around the country. So before going into your local Five Guys, assuming you'll be walking out with a milkshake, make sure your location carries them. A lot of people wouldn't consider any burger joint to be an eco-friendly option, considering how much beef production contributes to climate change. But Five Guys seems to double down on its eco-unfriendliness. When you buy a meal there, it's going to come out as a to-go order no matter what, even if you choose to dine in. That means it comes with a paper bag with extra napkins, and your burger will be wrapped up in foil. This policy creates a lot of unnecessary waste, especially when you consider all the customers that just carry all that packaging to a table a few feet away. As you can imagine, this isn't a popular policy with many of Five Guys customers. A Move On petition was created to encourage the fast food chain to recycle and cut down on its waste. Luckily, word has it that Five Guys is now studying how it can reduce waste in its stores. Calling all influencers. If you want a signal boost, Five Guys might be the place to start. The brand works with influencers, but it also shares pictures from everyday customers who submit their photos. From the ability to submit your Five Guys photo to the company's website, to your chance to participate in hashtag challenges on Instagram, the chain really goes above and beyond when it comes to customer engagement. So the next time you're at a Five Guys enjoying your meal, don't forget to snap a picture or two. Share it with the company online using the Five Guys fans hashtag, and you may just see yourself on the Five Guys social media pages. Former U.S. President Barack Obama is no stranger to good food. State dinners under the Obama administration often included veggies from the White House garden, and the former president famously appeared on Anthony Bourdain's series Parts Unknown, in which the TV personality took the then-president to a small, casual restaurant in Vietnam. Obama is known for keeping his diet especially healthy, but that won't stop him from indulging in a burger from time to time. Soon after becoming president in 2009, he stopped by a Washington Five Guys and ordered a regular cheeseburger.
Let me get the jalapenos and tomatoes, mustard.
Sounds like a pretty tasty combo. It was good enough to become its own secret menu item, in fact. If you want to take a page out of Obama's book, make sure you order the presidential the next time you go. Until 2019, loyal Five Guys fans would almost certainly put a lack of delivery options on a list of the worst things about the chain. While it's not usually too challenging to visit a restaurant yourself and pick up your order, it's not always the ideal situation when you're feeling lazy. You have a million other things to do, or there's some other reason you prefer not to go into a restaurant. Five Guys seemingly got wind of the frustration because the company now offers delivery services. You can now order Five Guys through a variety of apps, including Postmates and Grubhub. Just place your order through the app and wait for your order to arrive at your door, if you're within a location's delivery area. If you suffer from an allergy to peanuts, you may want to avoid eating at Five Guys, a restaurant very closely associated with that sometimes dangerous food. Five Guys prides itself on using peanut oil for all of its frying. While food allergy research and education says that most people with peanut allergies can safely ingest peanut oil, it's best to check with your doctor if you're in doubt. The oil isn't the only thing you have to worry about if you're concerned about your allergies flaring up. You might also have to watch out for the milkshakes, which may contain a small amount of peanuts. More important, though, is that most locations offer free peanuts for guests to snack on while they're waiting for their food. This may not be a problem if you don't grab one to try for yourself, but sometimes customers scatter shells on the floor, possibly exposing others to allergens. The entire store is more or less contaminated, which should be a consideration for anyone with a very sensitive allergy. So folks with peanut allergy should either take some extra precautions or pass up Five Guys in favor of another burger restaurant. Burgers and fries are about as unpretentious as food can get. The coupling may not be fancy, but it is delicious. Fast food burger chains like McDonald's have boosted the narrative of affordable American hamburger and fries considerably. Where else can you reliably order from a dollar menu? But Five Guys hasn't quite adopted the same strategy. Five Guys is often downright expensive for a burger joint, and many customers aren't having it. There's a good chance that this is a big reason why Five Guys isn't expanding as fast as other burger chains across the country. Yes, the quality of the food may be better than the stuff you'd find at a typical fast food chain, but places like In-N-Out offer comparable quality for a lower price. That said, Five Guys still has a loyal following, and there are no signs that these die-hard fans are going anywhere anytime soon, even with the higher-than-average prices.
I want it. Pay anything.
Yes, Five Guys might be more expensive than much of the competition, but that's all the more reason to maximize your dollar and get all the freebies you can. There are two add-ons that you won't see on the free menu: bacon and extra cheese. That's because they do charge for those items by changing your base order from a hamburger to a cheeseburger or bacon cheeseburger, both of which are slightly more expensive. But what they don't advertise is that once you're paying for these add-ons, you don't have to settle for the standard amount of either. Taste of Home revealed that you can ask for extra bacon and/or cheese without paying a single cent more than you would have otherwise. Will this Five Guys hack help you meet your health and fitness goals? Probably not, but it will absolutely ensure that every burger you order at the restaurant is 10 times better.
Five Guys' unlimited free toppings policy has led to the birth of a secret menu with creative recipes dreamed up by its very own fans. These tasty items go way beyond the standard burger combinations and stretch their topping menu to its limits. Forget a boring old hamburger bun. The double grilled cheeseburger takes 2 beef patties and tucks it snugly between 2 individual grilled cheese sandwiches. Ordering this one is simple. Simply ask for 2 grilled cheese sandwiches and a bunless hamburger. As with all Five Guy burgers, the bunless burger patties will be hand-shaped from never-frozen chuck and sirloin, while the exterior grilled cheeses will come with melted Kraft American cheese. The buns will be served upside down and come out toasted until golden brown. Top the burger patty to your heart's content with fixins of your choosing. If you have a bolder palate, you may want to add some jalapenos or a squirt of hot sauce. One fateful afternoon in 2009, President Barack Obama walked into a Five Guys. The former commander-in-chief's healthy eating habits have been well documented, but he is also known to have a weakness for a good burger. On this particular day, Obama had a hankering for Five Guys. He placed several orders for his staff and placed his own order: a cheeseburger with lettuce, tomatoes, jalapenos, and mustard, thus making secret menu history forever. Today, you can order Obama's favorite burger, aka the presidential, at any Five Guys location. Of course, the staff may or may not know the details of Obama's order off the top of their head, so you may instead want to specify that you want a cheeseburger with the aforementioned toppings. A cheeseburger with lettuce, tomatoes, jalapenos, and mustard may not run off the tongue as smoothly as the presidential, but the delicious Obama-beloved burger is worth the additional verbal exercise. A burger joint is only as good as its fries. Five Guys happily excels in the French fry department. Fries are crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and doled out in huge heaping portions. According to the menu, Five Guys offers fries two ways: traditional Five Guys style or Cajun style. But word on the street is that select Five Guys locations will also serve your fries nacho style or covered in melted cheese upon request. Take things a step further and throw on some bacon or jalapeno slices. Note that while most Five Guys toppings are free, adding cheese to your fries might set you back 50 cents or so, depending on the location. Still, totally worth it. Here's another cool thing about Five Guys. They're a burger joint that serves hot dogs. And not just any hot dogs, these are all beef, kosher, premium franks from Hebrew National. The official Five Guys menu offers 4 varieties, including kosher style, cheese, bacon, and bacon cheese. But fans have gotten imaginative with the toppings and come up with some pretty tasty secret menu hot dog alternatives. Notably, Food Network celebrity chef Justin Warner dreamed up the Breaking Windy City Dog, which puts a Cajun twist on a classic Chicago-style dog. Like a classic Chicago hot dog, the BWCD tops a Frankfurter with pickles, tomatoes, relish, green peppers, and mustard. The chef adds hot sauce and a sprinkle of Cajun seasoning. To order, ask for a kosher-style dog with all the aforementioned ingredients. Ask for Cajun seasoning on the side so you can sprinkle it on yourself. The Five Guys patty melt is poignant in its simplicity. Like a traditional patty melt, the secret menu favorite takes a mild-mannered burger and transforms it into a sandwich. But while a conventional patty melt calls for Swiss cheese, caramelized onions, and griddled rye bread, the Five Guys patty melt diverges. The Five Guys secret menu version is essentially a grilled cheese sandwich with a burger patty inside. Sources report that the staff will have no qualms grilling one up special for you. To request a patty melt at Five Guys, order a grilled cheese sandwich with a burger patty, onions, and your choice of toppings. The melt masterpiece will come served with 2 slices of grilled, inside-out hamburger buns and melted Kraft cheese, delivering a crunchy punch on the outside and a gooey interior. For all its charms, Five Guys isn't exactly the most diet-friendly restaurant. That said, there are low-carb friendly options at Five Guys for health-conscious fans with a bit of resourcefulness. Take the Burger Bowl, for instance, beloved by fitness-minded Five Guys-loving bloggers and Instagrammers. To score this secret menu item, ask for a bunless little bacon cheeseburger with pickles, grilled onions, and green peppers. Steer clear of ketchup, which is loaded with carbs, and go for mayo, mustard, and/or hot sauce on top. The Five Guys Little Bacon Cheeseburger Bowl should set you back less than 500 calories and 2 net carbs. In-N-Out, another burger chain with a cult following, has a fairly extensive secret menu of its own. Among the most beloved are the not-so-secret animal-style fries and burgers. An animal-style burger includes mustard grilled directly into the patty, in addition to lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, and special sauce. Similarly, animal-style fries come showered in melted cheese, grilled onions, and special sauce. It may be that other chain's invention, but you can order In-N-Out animal-style burgers and fries at Five Guys, too. To order an animal-style inspired burger, ask for a cheeseburger topped with an extra slice of cheese, grilled onions, tomatoes, and pickles. You can try and ask if they'll grill mustard into the patty, but past attempts have reportedly been unsuccessful. For animal-style fries, order fries topped with cheese and grilled onions. To DIY In-N-Out's special sauce, mix mayo, ketchup, and relish together, then douse your burger or fries in the heavenly mixture. You can have the staffers top your burger or fries with mayo, ketchup, and relish themselves, but we recommend ordering the sauces separately and mixing them up yourself to get the consistency right. Though Five Guys' official menu only offers a traditional BLT, crafty vegetarians can hack the menu to order a BLT without any meat. Like vegetarian chef Rich Landau, Five Guys knows that the rich, meaty texture and taste of mushrooms makes them a suitable substitute for bacon. Of course, the chef's recipe calls for fancy, thin-sliced wild mushrooms, but the grilled white button mushrooms used by Five Guys work nicely too. To order a vegetarian BLT from Five Guys, start by requesting a traditional BLT, which comes with 6 strips of American smokehouse bacon, 2 fresh tomato slices, mayo, and hand-torn lettuce on a bun. But ask them to hold the bacon and replace it with grilled mushrooms. To replace the crunch of the bacon, ask your cashier to throw in some jalapeno peppers into the sandwich for good measure. For a bit of protein, go wild and request a slice of melted cheese. Beloved by Brits, the English chip buddy, also known as a chip sandwich or chip cob, is essentially a French fry sandwich. The carby concoction is traditionally made by serving French fries on white bread with a generous slathering of cold butter. But different variations may also call for ketchup or malt vinegar. If you find yourself craving a French fry sandwich, Five Guys can make it for you. To order a Five Guys-styled chip buddy, ask for a little order of French fries inside of an untoasted bun and try to ignore any perplexed looks from other customers. You can top your chip buddy with plenty of ketchup to break up what is otherwise just a plain old white pile of starch, and there's plenty of malt vinegar right there on the table. Wrapped in bacon and stuffed with cream cheese, jalapeno poppers are an irresistible Tex-Mex appetizer. The secret menu jalapeno popper and grilled cheese from Five Guys delivers everyone's favorite fiery appetizer in sandwich form. You can try the jalapeno popper sandwich yourself the next time you pop by the burger joint by ordering a grilled cheese sandwich. But instead of stopping there, ask if your sandwich can also be topped with extra cheese, bacon, and jalapenos. The applewood smoked bacon will give your grilled Kraft singles a nice crunch, while the fresh jalapenos add a bite. Fair warning, the fresh jalapenos can pack some heat. If you have timider taste buds, we suggest pairing it with our next subject. In addition to custom burgers, dogs, and fries, Five Guys lets you design your very own milkshakes. Shakes are hand-spun from vanilla ice cream and served with your choice of unlimited mix-ins. Choose from yummy ingredients like cherries, peanut butter, strawberries, bananas, chocolate, sea-salted caramel, and bacon. That's right, crumbled applewood smoked bona fide bacon. For a creamy treat that is packed with protein, go for the extra chunky peanut butter bacon milkshake. The secret menu heavy protein shake blends savory peanut butter, real peanuts, and bacon with sweet honey chocolate and vanilla ice cream. The extra chunky creation requires a little legwork on your part to make, so get ready. Start by ordering milkshake with peanut butter, chocolate, and bacon. For the extra chunky part, grab a handful of complimentary peanuts from the bin, crack them out of their shells, and crush them up inside a paper bag. Sprinkle the crushed peanuts atop your milkshake and enjoy. Here's another one from the imagination of madman/genius Chef Justin Warner, a Five Guys Thai-style lettuce wrap, or as he calls it, the probably not worth the work or weird looks Thai lettuce wrap. This Thai lettuce wrap draws inspiration from the common Thai restaurant appetizer, which in turn is an adaptation of the traditional Southeast Asian larb salad. Fair warning, as its title suggests, this Five Guys secret menu item does require some effort and a bit of bravery. To try the Five Guys-ified version of the Southeast Asian larb salad, start by ordering a bunless hamburger in a lettuce wrap. In place of hoisin and chili sauces, ask that the patty be topped with steak sauce and jalapenos. Next, grab a handful of peanuts from the complimentary bin, crack them open, and crumble them onto the meat. Use the lettuce as a kind of tortilla-like vessel to shove the delicious fillings into your face and decide for yourself if it's worth the weird looks. This one we found deep in the bowels of Reddit. It was shared by a Five Guys cook who assures everyone that Five Guys cooks will usually make whatever you want as long as they have the ingredients. The Artery Annihilator fuses the Five Guys hot dog and bacon cheeseburger into one beautiful tower of meat. To order an Artery Annihilator, ask for a bacon cheeseburger and request that a hot dog be sliced in half and laid on top of the patty. Then pile on desired ingredients. If artery annihilation truly is your goal, why hold back? Slather on the mayo and barbecue sauce and pair with a large order of fries and a bacon milkshake with whipped cream. Pay a friend to mash up your meal and feed you so you don't accidentally burn off any calories while lifting food to your mouth or chewing. Okay, maybe not that last part. While its origins are up for debate, the Sloppy Joe found its way into the American mainstream in the 20th century. It reached its heyday in the late 60s when the Manwich, essentially canned Sloppy Joe sauce, was released into grocery stores nationwide. Though the popularity of the Sloppy Joe has waned, you can still reminisce over the flavors of the classic ground beef sandwich at Five Guys. Just order a burger with grilled green peppers, grilled onions, ketchup, and barbecue sauce. The combination of ground chuck and tomato-based sauces tastes exactly like a Sloppy Joe. There's no denying that Five Guys is currently sitting high and mighty on the burger throne. But this doesn't mean that there aren't a few cracks in the foundations. Here are a few of the biggest scandals to have ever hit Five Guys. You'd hope that any Five Guys franchise operator would want to do right by their employees, but sadly, that's not always the case. North Carolina Five Guys owner Mike Ruffer pitched a fit in 2013 when he discovered that, because he employed 147 employees at his 8 burger locations, he'd have to provide them with health insurance under the Affordable Care Act, called Obamacare by some. At the time, Ruffer said, "There's a part of me that would love to offer health care to my employees." Ruffer also pointed out that he was losing around $60,000 a year in profits under the law's employer mandate. Now, $60,000 isn't exactly chump change, but a Five Guys owner who operates just a single store usually makes six figures. Ruffer owned 8. In the end, Ruffer said he'd be forced to pass on the costs of his employees' health care to the store's customers. It wasn't exactly a good look. Other Five Guys franchise owners, such as J.R. Rosano of Florida, took the new mandate in stride. Where Ruffer halted his plans to expand because of the Obamacare mandate, Rosano decided to open more locations. He said, "You just need to find a way to figure it out."
Obama.
Let's not kid anyone here. Everyone knows that the only healthy thing you'll find at Five Guys is the tomato slice and leaf of lettuce on your burger. Inevitably, eating a full meal at Five Guys will likely break your recommended daily calorie intake. But pull back the curtain and you'll find some even more worrying things wrong with Five Guys beef. For example, the restaurant got an F when it came to the level of antibiotics in their beef. And no, that F didn't stand for fantastic. A report produced by the Center for Food Safety, Consumer Reports, and other consumer watchdog groups slapped the F grade on Five Guys and 21 other burger chains for their failure to source any of their beef from antibiotic-free farms. Antibiotics are used to prevent disease in livestock, but they've also been criticized for leading to antibiotic resistance in humans. Jean Halloran, Director of Food Policy Initiatives with Consumer Reports, said, "When antibiotics stop working, diseases become harder to treat, life-saving surgeries riskier to perform, and a scrape on the knee can even turn deadly." For what it's worth, the only burger chains that got an A grade were Shake Shack and BurgerFi. For decades, burgers have been the enemy of the dietitian.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Now, pointing out that Five Guys burgers aren't healthy isn't exactly groundbreaking, but what is turning some heads is their insistence that they're serving a better burger. Along with brands like Shake Shack, Five Guys is credited with creating a so-called better burger that doesn't just beat McDonald's in taste, but also in quality. Unfortunately for Five Guys, not everybody is buying into this. Jane Hurley, a registered dietitian at the Center for Science in the Public Interest, told HuffPost, "These new upscale burger restaurants are serving more meat between the buns with at least twice the calories. You would get a healthier meal at a traditional fast food burger place like McDonald's or Burger King. Both the Big Mac and Whopper have fewer calories and less fat than a cheeseburger from Five Guys. The Big Mac weighs in at 550 calories and 29 grams of fat and is slightly healthier than the Whopper's 630 calories and 35 grams of fat. A regular two-patty cheeseburger from Five Guys has both beat, however, with 840 calories and 55 grams of fat." In October 2019, Five Guys manager Darnell Penn allegedly sexually harassed and assaulted a female employee when he lured her to his car under the guise of getting a new uniform. He was also accused of forcing another employee to expose herself to him, allegedly threatening to fire her if she told anyone. After learning that he was facing charges, Penn ditched his Five Guys responsibilities and went on the lam. Penn was eventually arrested in Georgia and shipped back to Pennsylvania to face his charges. While Five Guys obviously had nothing to do with the incident other than hiring Penn, the ordeal certainly didn't help the image of that particular Pennsylvania location. Unfortunately, Five Guys has had more than one terrible manager in their ranks. In 2015, a newly opened branch in West Virginia became embroiled in a scandal when 2 of its female employees accused the manager of sexual harassment. The 2 employees filed a lawsuit against both the general manager and the restaurant manager, Andre Devon Fleming, accusing Fleming of creating a hostile work environment when he made unwanted sexual advances towards them. The lawsuit detailed some pretty sleazy reported behavior on Fleming's part, with the manager allegedly making unwanted remarks towards his employees. Worse still, at least one of the employees was still in high school at the time. The 2 employees went on to say that Fleming touched them inappropriately, allowed other coworkers to carry on with similar unwanted behavior, and concocted insulting nicknames for his employees. The lawsuit also alleged that General Manager Curtis Runyon was made aware of such behavior, but failed to take appropriate action. Five Guys has also employed more than a few managers who have been arrested for stealing. In February 2020, a former manager of a Five Guys in State College, Pennsylvania, was arrested for stealing $27,000 in cash deposits from his restaurant. The manager, however, said that it was all a conspiracy and that another employee was out to frame him. In 2019, a manager in Memphis, Tennessee was busted for stealing more than $12,000 after she took the money from the safe and never deposited it at the bank. Once the store's owner confronted her about it, she simply didn't show back up for work. Obviously, that wasn't the end of the matter, and police arrested her shortly thereafter. But both of those examples are small fries compared to a reported theft by former Five Guys manager Darcy Lyons, who was found guilty and sentenced up to 5 years in prison for stealing $122,000 from her store. And it wasn't just the company that was affected by Lyons' theft. Her father was forced to take out a reverse mortgage on his home to try and help his daughter repay the debt. The store's owner also had to halt plans to open another location and dip into his children's college funds to make up for the loss. In 2017, Five Guys found itself with some explaining to do to Uncle Sam when 3 of its restaurants in Washington, D.C. were found to owe upwards of $500,000 in unpaid taxes. Officials reportedly made numerous attempts to collect on the taxes from the 3 eateries, but without any luck. The restaurant's owners were reportedly given numerous warnings that if they didn't comply, there could be seizures. You can probably guess what happened next.
You mess with the bull, you get the horns.
The D.C. tax office ordered those locations immediately halt business. This cut the city's 6 Five Guys restaurants down to just 3. At the time, a spokesperson for Five Guys said, "We are working with the franchise owner of these 3 locations to resolve the issue as quickly as possible." Eventually, the restaurants were able to resolve their debt to the government, and all 3 locations are now back in the burger business. In 2012, several employees at a Five Guys in San Diego brought a lawsuit against the company, arguing that the restaurant had violated the state's overtime and meal break laws for hourly employees. And this wasn't the only time that Five Guys have run into trouble with labor issues. In 2017, former employee Jeremy Lusk brought a suit against the company, arguing that it had denied them both his 30-minute meal breaks and 10-minute breaks, and asked him to perform job duties while he was off the clock. Lusk argued that if the restaurant was busy, his manager would deny him breaks, and that he would be asked to use his car to run errands for the store after clocking out. Lusk wasn't employed by Five Guys at the time he filed the lawsuit, and said that the company dragged its heels in giving him his final paycheck after he quit. Jody Feinfrock and Julia Francis sued Five Guys because they felt the company had paid them less than their male colleagues. Both women worked at company-owned Five Guys locations in Pennsylvania and said Five Guys was guilty of wage discrimination under the Equal Pay Act. Feinfrock said that as an assistant general manager, she was making $5,000 less than the male assistant manager that she trained. When she did finally get promoted to general manager, she was still being paid $2,000 less than her male counterparts. The women fought to make their case a class action lawsuit that would work for all female managers, and Five Guys pushed back. The chain argued that the lawsuit was without merit because the Equal Pay Act only bars employers from discriminating against people working in the same establishment. In the end, the judge ruled in Francis and Feinfrock's favor. The fries are one of the reasons that people flock to Five Guys, and even though they garner praise like the best French fries in fast food, not all of the attention is good. In fact, everyone from Time to Food Network has called out the chain for their fatty fries. Sure, Five Guys claims to only use the finest Idaho potatoes, but there's no denying the high calorie count that comes with them. A small order has 526 calories, and a larger order has 1,314 calories, 57 grams of fat, and 1,327 milligrams of sodium. Of course, the company makes no apologies for this. Chad Morrell, son of Five Guys founder Jerry Morrell, told Food Republic, "I say load them up and make sure they get their money's worth. Some people complain that they get too many fries. I just tell them to make hash browns with the leftovers." Former Five Guys employee Jordan Botello sued the burger chain for discrimination and harassment that took place regarding his HIV diagnosis. Botello had started working at the restaurant in 2013, and he was diagnosed with HIV in 2014. He was cleared by his doctor to work so long as he wore gloves. But when the restaurant hired a new manager, Botello said they began making fun of him and telling others about his HIV status. Eventually, Botello was fired. Unsurprisingly, Five Guys soon was slapped with a lawsuit for discrimination under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Botello's attorney said, "The law does not allow employers to treat employees in this manner, and we are confident a jury will hold Five Guys accountable for their unlawful treatment of Mr. Botello." While the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission ruled that Five Guys was in the wrong, it opted not to bring a lawsuit against the burger chain. In 2017, a blind woman sued Five Guys claiming that their website was ill-suited to use by the visually impaired. Like many other chain restaurants, the Five Guys website allows users to place an order online. For Lucia Merritt, though, using the Five Guys website was next to impossible. Merritt's class action lawsuit claimed that the website was full of barriers for the blind and that she was unable to make an order because of those barriers. Five Guys argued that his website was in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act and tried to have the lawsuit dismissed. A Manhattan judge didn't buy their case, though, and shot down the dismissal request. The burger company has reportedly been working to overhaul its website to address and remove barriers that would prevent blind customers from using it. Although there are lots of delicious items on the Five Guys menu that you'll definitely want to sink your teeth into, there are other things that you should never try to order. Here are just some of the things on the Five Guys menu that are much better left alone. The folks at Five Guys take their fries seriously. The fast food franchise stands out from the rest of their competition by opting for fresh, hand-cut fries made almost exclusively from Idaho potatoes. And their dedication to making the perfect batch of fries has paid off. The Los Angeles Times food section ranked Five Guys #1 on its official fast food French fry ranking in 2019, with a note that Five Guys fries are a bit more expensive than other fast food chains. Fortunately, they have no problem generously sharing all that crispy fried goodness with their customers. Five Guys workers are instructed to load their customers up with an extra avalanche of fries on every order. Once they fill up your cup with fries based on the size of your order, they dump an extra pile of fries on top. As a result, you're left with plenty of fries to share with a friend, or not.
There are several sacred things in this world that you don't ever mess with. One of them happens to be another man's fries.
Chad Merle, son of Five Guys founder Jerry Merle, told Food Republic, "We always give an extra scoop. I say load them up and make sure they get their money's worth. If you're dining with a large group, you may want to size up. But if it's just you, or even you and one other person, don't order anything larger than a little fries. It may sound a bit wimpy, but it's more than enough for 2 people. There are hamburgers, and there are all-day beef events. There's no other way to define the bacon cheeseburger at Five Guys. If you plan on eating nothing else for the rest of the day, this burger has you covered. Besides the fact that the 2 beef patties topped with a pair of bacon strips is a massive pile of meat, the bacon cheeseburger is loaded with calories, fat, and sodium. It's a burger that has been named one of the unhealthiest fast food burgers in America. According to Healthline, in order to maintain a constant weight, the average woman should consume 2,000 calories per day, while the average man should consume 2,500 calories per day. And the American Heart Association suggests that adults should limit their sodium intake to no more than 2,300 milligrams per day. Just one Five Guys bacon cheeseburger can put you pretty close to the limit with 1,060 calories, 62 grams of fat, and 1,310 grams of sodium. And all this is before you even add toppings, which we assure you can quickly make that number a lot bigger. If you plan on dessert, fries, or moving for the rest of the day, you might want to skip this monster burger from Five Guys. But wait, when it comes to pure sodium, there's another contender. Chicagoans and New Yorkers may not be able to agree on many foods, from the depth of a proper pizza pan to the best toppings to add to their hot dogs. New York-style dogs are commonly topped with spicy mustard, and maybe onions or sauerkraut. On the other hand, a typical Chicago-style hot dog is usually topped with some variety of relish, onion, tomatoes, celery salt, peppers, and pickles. But what the 2 hot dog-loving cities can agree on is that a slice of Kraft American cheese doesn't do a whole lot to make their hot dogs taste better. In fact, it hides the taste of the meat, which is kind of the point of the meal anyway. Purists would argue that it's not even real cheese. Add bacon to that, and you're just abusing your meal powers. Because the slice adds over 100 milligrams of sodium to the regular kosher hot dog, it may be better to leave it off your dog altogether. You're better off holding the cheese and loading up on veggie toppings instead. A regular bacon cheese dog contains 1,700 milligrams of sodium anyhow. Don't get upset.
I gotta tell you something. Bacon is good for me.
But wait, doesn't bacon make everything better? For a die-hard bacon lover, the salty, smoky flavor of bacon might just make your hot dog better than ever. That's between you and your doctor. You're not alone. The powers that be at Five Guys think that even milkshakes are among those things that bacon can breathe life into. Crumbled applewood smoked bacon is one of the 10 toppings you can choose to have blended into your creamy treat at no additional charge. But before you rush out to order one, think about what you're really asking for. Although the idea of a bacon-infused milkshake may sound like a delicious dessert, the reality of a mouthful of greasy meat melting in your milkshake on a warm summer day is far less appealing. The end product has been politely described as off-putting. But you do you.
How about your favorite food? What would that be?
Oh, milk steak. What?
Vegetarian options are usually pretty rare on a fast food burger joint's menu, but Five Guys knows that not all of their customers are looking for a meat monster and offer 3 meat-free sandwiches on their menu: the veggie sandwich, the cheese veggie sandwich, and the grilled cheese. But although Five Guys has more than one meatless option, they don't even come close to stacking up to their meaty counterparts. An August 2018 post in Time Out Miami ranked the cheese veggie sandwich as the worst item on Five Guys' menu and described the texture of the sandwich as a gloppy cheese tar pit. Yum. For a better meat-free sandwich option, go with the grilled cheese. The simple sandwich consists of a slice of American cheese between a bun that has been turned inside out. And just like the Five Guys burgers, grilled cheese sandwiches can be customized with your choice from the toppings menu at no extra charge.
Five Guys fans are serious about their love. They must be serving up some epic burgers then, right? If you're curious about just what's on the plate at Five Guys, here are some things you should know before you head there. Love or hate buns? If there are any complaints ever made about Five Guys, it's usually the condition of the buns. They're a bit on the squishy side, and that's by design. The buns originally came from Brenner's, an Alexandria bakery that was a favorite of the Morel family, who founded the restaurant chain. On request, the rolls were eggier and sweeter than the standard hamburger bun. When the bakery closed, Five Guys started making their own buns. As they grew, there was no way they could keep making the same sweet buns in their little bakery. So they started contracting out under some super specific regulations, now overseen by Morel's youngest son, Tyler. To those that love them, they totally help make their burgers super special. Healthier choices. No one in their right mind suggests heading to Five Guys if you're looking for a healthy lunch option. According to their nutritional information, their bun alone is a whopping 260 calories and 9 grams of fat. Have no fear, there are a few healthier options that'll still give you your burger fix, like their veggie sandwich. It's not a veggie burger, but it's their vegetable toppings served on a bun. You can also order a bunless little hamburger. Skip the mayo and bacon, but stack on some of their other toppings like tomatoes, onions, lettuce, and jalapeno peppers, and you'll get your Five Guys fix with far less carb guilt. Peanuts are everywhere. You probably know someone with a peanut allergy, and it can be deadly. According to the Peanut Institute, around 4% of people have severe food allergies, and tree nuts, including peanuts, account for about 90% of those allergies.
If I eat a peanut, I could die.
Wow. Cases have steadily risen since at least 1997, making it surprising that not only does Five Guys continue to offer guests peanuts to snack on while they wait, but they exclusively use peanut oil. That goes for everything, especially frying up all those crispy, hand-cut fries. Five Guys says they have no intention of changing any of their practices, as it would negatively impact the brand they've been building for several decades. Instead, they say they make sure there are plenty of signs posted, warning people who have a problem with peanuts to stay away. They also say the potential for an allergic reaction is why they don't allow peanuts outside. 250,000 ways to order. According to Five Guys, there are more than 250,000 ways to order your burger. That sounds like something the marketing department made up as a boast. But if you do the math, there are actually more than that. But 250,000 is such a nice-sounding number, we'd stick with that too. With 6 options for burgers, including different sizes, with or without cheese, and a whole host of toppings, it's a paradise for someone who loves options and a challenge for the completist. Changing prices. If you head to, say, McDonald's, you know how much you're going to spend on your usual before you get there. That's not the case with Five Guys, and Morel is pretty straightforward about the fact that the prices of their burgers can and will change. It all comes down to fluctuations in the market value of ingredients and a dedication to maintaining quality. That outlook started when tomato prices skyrocketed after hurricanes severely damaged that year's crop, and some of his franchises wanted to stop using them. Morel even suggested cutting back, but his son said they'd rather raise the price than compromise on quality. Pricing according to the market is great from a business point of view, but it's not always popular with customers. When Belfast, Ireland got its first Five Guys, the guest reaction was that it was a decent burger, but it shouldn't be priced several dollars more than the same burger in America. But some of their American customers have been voicing similar thoughts and claiming they're just too expensive. Millennials in particular have been quoted as saying their burgers just weren't worth the price. But value is in the eye of the beholder. To their fans, they're absolutely worth it.
The popular burger and fries chain Five Guys is growing at a rapid rate, not just in the United States, but abroad too. And if you're lucky enough to own a Five Guys franchise, then you can expect to make a very healthy income. Five Guys makes it pretty clear to franchise owners that the company won't pinpoint an exact number on what owners can expect to make based on previous sales history. But that doesn't mean some of the data isn't out there. A franchisee who is at the top of their game can expect their store to make up to $1.18 million annually in sales, which is pretty amazing. Of course, sales don't equal income, and operators have to account for all those overhead costs like keeping the lights on and paying staff to sweep up peanut shells 100 times a day. Five Guys also takes a gross sales royalty of 6%, which is worth bearing in mind if you're thinking of signing up for the franchise. Considering that the median income for a food franchise owner is around $126,866 a year, we can reasonably expect a Five Guys franchisee to earn close to that amount.
Working with the franchisees has been a lot nicer than I ever thought it would be.
Before owners can make that kind of money with Five Guys, though, they first have to convince the company that they're worthy of sitting at the table. Buying a Five Guys franchise, or really any fast food franchise, isn't cheap. In comparison, opening one doesn't cost as much as a Wendy's or Chick-fil-A, but it's still a pretty penny. For starters, the franchise fee is $25,000, and franchisees can expect to make an initial investment of between $306,000 to $641,000. This cost has only gotten more expensive as the chain's popularity has skyrocketed. In 2012, the franchise fee was $5,000 less. However, those who were interested were expected to already have a hefty net worth of at least $1.5 million, as well as liquidity of around $500,000, according to Forbes. And it's important to note that Five Guys doesn't offer any help with financing. Franchisees operate more than 900 Five Guys restaurants, and that number is expected to keep growing as more applications are reportedly flowing in every day. While it does cost a lot to open one, the payoff is pretty good, especially if you own more than one restaurant. Five Guys sold out of all its North American franchise rights shortly after opening the franchise doors, and people have been clamoring to get a piece of the pie ever since. If you have the funds and a serious love of burgers, Five Guys might be the right fit for you. Just know that you won't be running a single store, but 5 at the very minimum. The company also has some pretty hefty terms in its franchise contracts. Company founder Jerry Morrell told Inc., "I don't know if I would ever sign it. We can get out of the deal a million ways, but they are stuck." Aside from taking a sales cut, the company also regularly puts its franchised stores through weekly secret shopper and safety checks.
We bonus all of our employees on secret audits.
Considering just how wildly popular Five Guys has become, it's almost hard to believe that its U.S. takeover might not have ever happened. For a fast food restaurant to really grow, franchising is almost a necessity, but Five Guys was initially against it. Morrell had worked incredibly hard to get his burger restaurants running and profitable in Northern Virginia, and the idea of turning it over to outsiders was a risky move he wasn't sure he was ready for. Morrell told Forbes in 2012, "I just wasn't sure I could get strangers to buy into our concept. Everyone came in with their own opinions about what should be on the menu." Morrell was reluctant, but his son Matt, who was helping him run the business, was wise enough to see the potential and bought his father a copy of Franchising for Dummies. The book was co-written by Wendy's founder Dave Thomas and gave Morrell the push he needed to welcome franchise investors into the fold. And the rest is pretty much burger history.
If you've ever been to a Five Guys, you've likely noticed there aren't in fact 5 guys working at every location. Instead, there's many employees working at nearly 1,500 locations. This is what it's really like to be a Five Guys worker, according to past and current employees. Five Guys is famous for its fries. The sacks of potatoes are piled in the store for all to see. One Five Guys worker described the ideal Five Guys fry on Reddit, saying, "They're supposed to be firm and taste like mashed potatoes." Yet, according to a different former Five Guys employee, all the special qualifications of the fries mean nothing if the wrong person is manning the fry station. The employee said, "If the person on the fry station doesn't know what he is doing, they will come out terrible and inconsistent." They added that, quote, "Even veteran workers over or undercook the fries sometimes. Then there's the problem of leaving fries under the heat lamp for too long, which makes them soggy, or the issue of a worker who has a heavy hand with the salt. It all comes down to one telling statement from that former employee who said, 'The fries have the potential to be good if the person making them knows what he is doing.'" While Five Guys offers up big barrels of free peanuts, and you might spot someone throwing a shell or two, the chain isn't supposed to have a shell-covered floor. A former Five Guys worker said that working the house shift means cleaning all of the customer messes on and around the tables. In their words, it's a, quote, "terrible duty," and they added, "It's not rewarding because there is always a mess." This wouldn't be a problem if there were no free peanuts, but the snack is part of the brand. While Five Guys doesn't explicitly list why it offers free peanuts, a former employee offered one potential reason on Quora. He explained that the food at Five Guys takes a little longer to make than other fast food burgers, and the peanuts keep customers occupied with something to eat while they wait. Another former employee said the peanuts distract the customers so they won't stare at the employees making food. Continuing with the peanut theme, the signs posted inside Five Guys restaurants make it clear that peanuts are meant to be eaten on location and not taken outside. Five Guys doesn't let people take peanuts because despite the low probability of someone getting an allergic reaction from a casual encounter, Five Guys, quote, "wants to limit the risk of someone unknowingly coming into contact with peanuts." However, exactly how strict the peanut policy is might depend on the location. A former Five Guys worker said, "I regularly scold customers that try to take peanuts outside, since it says not to take them on the front door and on the box of peanuts itself." Many employees and former workers reported various levels of enforcement. One said it's up to the owner and general manager to decide, and that his location sold peanuts and peanut oil to customers, as well as let people take a small bag home because pleasing customers is more important. A former manager said that people aren't technically allowed to take them out of the store because of liability issues, but she said, "Depending on the manager, you can usually ask for a small bag and take some home for free." At first glance, the Five Guys menu seems pretty straightforward. There's the option for a hamburger, cheeseburger, bacon burger, or bacon cheeseburger, all with 2 patties, or the choice of a little version that only has 1 patty. While it's not quite like specialty orders at Starbucks,
8 double tall lattes, 1 with no foam, 5 iced venti decaf percent lattes with the long straw, 4 caramel macchiatos, double up on the cup.
things can still get a little crazy at Five Guys with all the free toppings. There are 15 free toppings listed on the Five Guys menu, ranging from basic ingredients like lettuce and mayo to the somewhat more adventurous like barbecue sauce, malt vinegar, hot sauce, and A1 sauce. That leaves a lot of room for customized special orders, and no one knows special orders better than the people making the food. One Five Guys worker said that the most delicious and, quote, ridiculous special order burger is a little bacon cheeseburger on a grilled cheese with a hot dog inside, as well as the burger patty. To make it even more extra, the worker adds lettuce, pickles, jalapenos, ketchup, and mustard. It's not always that complicated, though. Another worker said their usual special order is bacon cheeseburger with extra cheese, extra bacon, double extra lettuce, and double extra grilled onions. What really sets it apart is that everything is in a bowl rather than squeezed between 2 pieces of bread. The bowls at Five Guys involve no actual bowls, though. Instead, all the ingredients are wrapped in foil, sans bun. Pretty much everyone loves to be in on a secret, but at Five Guys, there isn't a true secret menu that's universally recognized by employees. A Five Guys worker confessed that if you order off a supposed secret menu at Five Guys, you'll likely be met with a blank stare. One time, for example, that worker was asked for a presidential burger made famous by President Barack Obama from the secret menu. Not knowing what that consists of, the employee asked what was in it. Turned out, the customer wasn't all that sure either, which put the staff in a tough spot because, according to the employee, we can't pull out our phones on the line and look up secret menu items. The lack of a secret menu hasn't stopped some people from trying to will one into existence, however. There's a lot of potential due to all of the free toppings, and even if some favorite orders lack a catchy, recognizable name, there are plenty of combinations that work. You just need to know how to properly order them. For example, if you want a patty melt, order a grilled cheese and then add a patty and any toppings you want. That presidential burger that caused some confusion is better understood when ordered as a cheeseburger with lettuce, tomatoes, jalapenos, and mustard. Everyone deserves equal pay for equal work. Five Guys, regrettably, does not have a perfect record when it comes to making sure that's the case. In 2018, a case was brought against the fast food chain that stated Five Guys paid its female managers less than its male managers.
Women make up about half our workforce.
But they still make 77 cents for every dollar a man earns. That is wrong.
The suit claimed that Five Guys violated the Equal Pay Act, and a former employee claimed she made $5,000 less as an assistant manager than the male assistant manager she trained. Additionally, she apparently made $2,000 less than the male general managers after she was promoted. The judge ruled in favor of the employee and another woman who accused Five Guys of violating the Equal Pay Act. Other blights on the Five Guys record include a claim in 2012 in San Diego that workers were denied breaks and overtime. In 2013 and 2014, a manager at one of the chain's locations reportedly mocked and then fired an employee with HIV in violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act, according to Ocala.com. These are just a few of the scandals brought up by Five Guys workers that have plagued the company over the years. Timers make working in the kitchen easier. It's not hard to stay consistent, after all, when everything is cooked for a set amount of time on the same machine. Five Guys kitchens buck the timers, though. That means, as one former employee wrote on Reddit, you essentially have to learn how to cook. Jerry Morrell, the founder of Five Guys, told NBC that there's a simple reason for the lack of timers. He said, "Good cooks know when the food's done." It's just one of the ways that Five Guys trusts its workers to do more than set it and forget it. Fries are shaken exactly 15 times, for example, and the onion and bacon go below the patty while pickles and tomatoes go on top. One of the things that makes the no-timer rule a little easier on Five Guys workers is that the patties are thin, which was a choice Five Guys made early on in the company's existence. Burgers started out thicker, but they got dry because they have to be cooked for longer. The thin burgers make it easy to achieve the right texture and doneness. Plus, they're easier for workers to learn how to cook. To keep the burgers just as filling as one larger patty, 2 patties are put on the standard burgers. If you want a single, go for the little burgers. The one person all Five Guys workers have to keep an eye out for is someone they don't even know the appearance of. Secret shoppers are a big deal at Five Guys. One worker said secret shopper feedback makes it to the store every time, and employees are listed by name in the reports. In some regions, Five Guys rewards the locations that score the highest secret shopper average per quarter with a bonus. One secret shopper posted on Reddit that they have worked at various Five Guys locations about 50 times. For that person, Five Guys is the easiest restaurant around when it comes to evaluations, but that might be because employees have learned to spot secret shopper patterns. Employees admitted that there are certain ticks they're taught to look out for because the secret shopper scores really matter. One is ordering a shake with 2 to 3 flavors along with their burger and fries. Another is to watch for customers who are making eye contact with the employees, especially if that person came to the restaurant alone and double checks that the condiment station is full. And though there may not be timers in the kitchens, secret shoppers often have them. It's a lot for a worker to keep track of to make sure there aren't any slip-ups. If you've ever ordered fries at Five Guys, then there's a good chance you're familiar with a bunch of extra fries thrown in your bag of food. This isn't a case of employees hooking their favorite customers up. The extra scoop is standard policy to make people think they're getting a bargain. But it can be a point of contention for some workers, and some customers complain that it's simply too many fries to enjoy, and they'd rather just have a cheaper meal. The amount of waste is one aspect of the fry policy that can get on an employee's nerves. One Five Guys worker posted on Reddit that the majority of people get a little or regular fry. Still, some kids come in and insist on ordering a large fry for themselves. The worker added, "That's enough fries for 3 adults." The employee also explained, "It's a waste of money, waste of product, and the kid is already starting to make unhealthy life decisions. Really gets under my skin." Other employees have said that they've had customers fend off any issues before they get their order. Customers who aren't regulars are not aware of how many fries come with each order. One former employee said, "A lot of people actually ask me not to fill the bags because they get oily and rip." Five Guys has a college tuition assistance program to help workers achieve their education goals. The company has a limit on who can join in, so it's not as generous as Chipotle's well-known college reimbursement program that's available to all workers after a set employment length. On the company website, Five Guys notes that only Five Guys Enterprise and Five Guys Operations employees are eligible for college aid. For those employees, Five Guys has partnered with Guild Education to enroll workers in high school and college degree programs. Each is designed to be easy to complete for adults who work full-time and are done at accredited nonprofit universities. For those interested in a degree in business administration, hospitality management, or finance, Five Guys offers 100% tuition coverage, as well as up to $5,250 per year for other select degrees. College isn't in the books for everyone, though. There is, however, always the benefit of free and discounted food. The free or discounted meals can be one of the biggest pros of working at Five Guys. One employee said that free food is the main and only benefit of working at the chain.
While burgers and fries are great on their own, nothing is better than burgers, fries, and a milkshake, and Five Guys makes some of the most delicious milkshakes around. Here's what makes the Five Guys milkshake different from other fast food frozen treats. Five Guys proudly advertises that its milkshakes are hand-spun, which is the kind of phrase we're used to seeing on menus and signs. But what does it actually mean? The answer is pretty straightforward. A hand-spun milkshake is made by a human being who puts ingredients into a container and blends them. While this might seem like the obvious approach to crafting any milkshake, many fast food chains don't actually do it that way. At McDonald's, for example, the milkshakes are machine-made from shake syrup, which almost makes them a different thing altogether. While Five Guys isn't the only chain that has hand-spun milkshakes, there are other qualities that set the Five Guys version apart from the crowd. As is the case with most works of art, a great milkshake starts with a great foundation. At Five Guys, rather than messing with multiple ice cream flavors or a bunch of flavored syrups to create different milkshake variations, the restaurant starts with a consistent base that will always taste great: vanilla. Widely considered to be one of the world's favorite flavors, vanilla is anything but basic. At its very best, vanilla is fragrant and complex while still providing a relatively blank canvas for the layering of other flavors. Because one of the big draws of the Five Guys hand-spun milkshake is the fact that it is fully customizable, starting with an expertly crafted vanilla base means that you're pretty likely to end up with something that tastes good whether you choose to add 1 topping or 10 toppings, or go with a classic vanilla shake with nothing but a little bit of whipped cream to add some oomph. All Five Guys milkshakes start as vanilla, but if you're looking for something a little more interesting, it's hard to beat the customization that this burger joint offers. There are 10 individual mix-ins: bacon, cherries, Oreo cookies, peanut butter, bananas, coffee, chocolate, malted milk, and strawberries. Whether you choose 1, 2, or all 10, the base price of the milkshake will remain the same, which is a serious incentive for experimentation. We truly believe that bacon should be added to basically any milkshake you order at Five Guys, especially the popular Elvis-inspired milkshake made with peanut butter, bacon, and banana. Even if you're not a meat eater, there are a ton of other creative combinations to choose from. Over 40,000 to be exact. In other words, they're so good because there's bound to be something that'll fit your own unique tastes. If the milkshakes at Five Guys are so good, it makes perfect sense to wonder why it took the chain almost 30 years to roll them out. The answer lies in one of the foundational policies that helped make Five Guys synonymous with high-quality, fresh-tasting burgers and fries: the no freezer rule. To make absolutely sure that no frozen items could make their way into the kitchens at Five Guys, ingredients that need to be kept extra cold are actually kept in coolers rather than freezers. The founders knew this would prevent them from serving popular items like milkshakes and ice cream, but it was a hit that, for a long time, they were willing to take. In an interview with Inc., founder Jerry Morrell came right out and said, "If we put one frozen thing in our restaurant, we'd be done. That's why we won't do milkshakes. For years, people have been asking for them, but we'd have to do real ice cream and real milk." Thankfully, he finally caved and agreed to allow freezers for this one item. A lot of processed, pre-made, and fast food items are synonymous with long lists of ingredients, many of which are hard to pinpoint as food exactly. This is another area where the milkshakes at Five Guys are very different from their competitors' offerings. At Five Guys, the milkshakes are made with just a few simple ingredients, primarily milk, non-fat milk, sugar, whey, and whatever toppings you choose to have mixed into your creation, so you know exactly what you're getting when you order one of these hand-spun milkshakes. The same cannot be said for other hand-spun milkshake options at fast food restaurants. By contrast, a Burger King milkshake contains over 20 ingredients, many of them in the difficult-to-pronounce category and including both regular and high-fructose corn syrup. The Ice Dream base alone that Chick-fil-A uses for its milkshake contains several artificial colors, along with the 20-plus ingredients that make up the Chick-fil-A chocolate milkshake. Besides using fresh, natural ingredients, there are several other ways that Five Guys differentiates itself in a sea of fast food restaurants specializing in burgers. Employees are trained to hold themselves to high standards of food safety and preparation, and in another out-of-the-box move by the Five Guys corporate team, they're not allowed to use timers because good cooks should know when the food is done. Another non-traditional move, the restaurant doesn't really spend money on advertising, relying instead on positive reviews and word of mouth. To take things a step further, employee compensation is tied to the scores they received through a robust secret shopper program, which means that every Five Guys employee is financially motivated to make you the best possible milkshake. While this is also one of the factors that make Five Guys food more expensive than that of some of their competitors, it's generally worth it to have better tasting, higher quality food. There's something to be said for having fewer choices on a fast food menu because it means that there's less of a chance that you'll order something that doesn't actually taste so great. The Five Guys approach to the milkshake throws that bit of wisdom out the window, offering customers practically unlimited options to create their own flavor combinations thanks to an array of mix-ins. While this could create a situation where customers try to one-up each other by creating gross flavor combinations, it seems like that's kind of hard to do. There's something about all the ingredients that just works, no matter how crazy you want to get with the additives. Go ahead, give it a try. Bottom line, experiment away because the worst you're going to get is, hey, that's actually not too bad.
There are so many Five Guys items to choose from, it's hard to know where to begin. What's the best thing on the menu? Come on this greasy, peanut oil-infused journey with us to find out. Here are the most popular Five Guys menu items from worst to best. The Five Guys grilled cheese has a legitimate cult following, but after tasting it, we couldn't help but wonder which higher power that cult is loyal to. Is it the cheese? The insanely sweet, overly thick slabs of American cheese that are piled between toast hardly seem worthy of worship. Is it the bread? This well-oiled toast is good, sure, but definitely not the stuff of legend. Of course, it could just be the simple yet profound combination of cheese and bread that gets fans so excited for Five Guys grilled cheese. However, if you're looking to indulge in cheese and bread, there are other, more rewarding ways to invest those calories, like a cheesy bread or even mozzarella sticks. Speaking as fast food connoisseurs, we promise there are better options out there. Five Guys is an all-American bastion of fast food, and the hot dog is a classic American meal in its own right. So did they nail the plain dog as best they could? Yes. But is it enough to hold up against the rest of their menu? Not quite. They get points for innovation at the very least. Instead of cooking it in classic fashion as a round slab of meat, they slice theirs down the middle before throwing it on the grill. According to the menu, this makes for a, quote, caramelized exterior. We agree, the dog is definitely more flavorful, but even that slightly modified take on the all-American staple isn't enough to make up for the fact that the bun was barely grilled, no part of the meal was seasoned, and at the end of the day, it's still just a plain hot dog.
Do you want one of the hot dogs? You can have a hot, you want a hot dog? Do you want a hot dog, miss?
No, thank you.
One.
Oh, Five Guys. Why must you use such cheap, sticky, neon orange-looking cheese? This item could have been great if it weren't for the fact that the layer of cheese is a particularly unnatural variation of American cheese. That alone negates the other potential positives of this menu item. Five Guys hot dog style, sliced in half and then grilled, bodes well for a cheese dog. Really well, in fact. The cheese melts beautifully over the dog, pulling at its center between the halves and filling the space between hot dog and bun. It makes for a bite that is more hot dog and cheese sandwich than traditional cheese dog. In execution, however, because of the unfortunate aforementioned cheese choice, the flavor combination is simply not worth it. The cheese dog is still an upgrade from the plain dog, but just barely. The Five Guys veggie sandwich is downright divisive. On one side of the aisle are those who like mushrooms. On the other are those who are staunchly anti-fungus. When the sandwich was delivered, it was falling apart. The bottom half of the bun was so soggy beneath the stack of vegetables that it could not hold them together. It was so unsteady that when we tried to pick this up to taste it, not all sandwich components made it from the table to our mouths. The diverse creation is piled with freshly grilled onions, mushrooms, green peppers, lettuce, and tomatoes. And we added pickles for a bit of acidic zing. Overall, the pickles ended up dominating the flavor profile, which is probably less of a testament to the add-on and more just an indicator of how bland the rest of the vegetables on the sandwich were. Regardless, it was refreshing and obviously tasted healthier than the rest of the menu. If you're stuck at Five Guys and not craving artery-clogging fast food, it's a fine option. But if you don't like mushrooms, skip it. With the bacon dog, Five Guys inches ever closer to solving the issues present in the plain dog and cheese dog. The soft hot dog meat pairs nicely with the crispy bacon, making each bite just a little more interesting. Plus, Five Guys seems to have mastered the bacon game. They say it is, quote, crispy, sweet applewood smoked bacon, and it tastes every bit as delectable as that description sounds. We think the peanut oil plays a large role too. The high smoke point of the peanut oil is probably perfect for sizzling up slices of bacon, and you can definitely detect subtle notes of peanut oil flavor on those slices. Overall, this bacon dog trumps 2 out of 3 of its hot dog competitors. The rule of thumb we've come to understand about Five Guys cheese is this: the more meat you surround it with, the less offensive its flavor becomes. Perhaps that's because when sandwiched between a nicely grilled hot dog and absolutely incredible bacon, the sweetness of Kraft American cheese actually complements well. They use the cheese to hold the hot dog and bacon together, turning it into one cohesive unit rather than a few separate tastes. If you're going to go with any hot dog at Five Guys, just lean into this big boy. While it's still eclipsed by most items on the menu, it's by far the best dog option. Just as the plain hot dog ranked last among its kind, the plain hamburger simply could not compete with its more dressed-up brethren. Regardless, the meat alone significantly pulls it ahead of everything thus far. It's notably superior to the hot dog or any plain veggie or cheese creation. But even when we added pickles, lettuce, and tomato, there wasn't enough going on to make this hamburger anything truly noteworthy. Five Guys seems to be rolling with the at-home barbecue approach for their buns. They could easily be pulled from a grocery store bag, and we likely wouldn't know the difference. They aren't overly seasoned or grilled in any unique way, so when it comes to the plain entrees, there's just nothing to elevate the taste. The meat is a different story, however. The chain describes the double patty as 2 fresh, hand-formed patties hot off the grill. Even plain, the burger is an enjoyable, if not entirely noteworthy, experience.
I can guarantee you that our burger well done is as juicy as anything you'd ever want.
One bite into this bad boy and it was clear. Five Guys knows how good its bacon is and isn't afraid to show it. It's a BLT after all, with a strong emphasis on the B. It's basically just bacon on a bun, with a few slices of tomatoes sitting atop the crispy mound of bacon, though we recommend adding some pickles too. The rendition that was served to us included just one measly piece of lettuce, more white than green, slicked up against a generous slab of mayonnaise. Really, all you were tasting was the bacon. This is by no means a crime. As previously observed, the Five Guys bacon might just be the best on the market. On their menu, the chain claims that each BLT has, quote, 6 whole strips of American Smokehouse crispy bacon, and we believe them. If you're looking for something plain, the bacon edges out the burger. Go with the BLT. We recommend choosing the bacon over the burger, yes, but the real beauty of Five Guys is that you don't have to choose. Their bacon burger truly is the best of both worlds, combining 4 slices of the legendary bacon with 2 of their handmade patties. As with any combination, the attention to detail on any one aspect of this burger may suffer as a result of everything else going on. For example, check out that less than crispy slice of bacon atop our burger. Hardly up to the Five Guys standard, however, even a drawback like that feels small when you consider the reward of tasting Five Guys' greatest meat options together. The only problem with this otherwise epic masterpiece is there's a lot of meat here, and not a lot of moisture to hold it all together. The Oreo Cookie Pieces milkshake is exactly as advertised. At its core, it's a vanilla milkshake. But this flavor is pretty widespread and indeed has bits of Oreo cookies sprinkled throughout. You can actually taste intact chunks of Oreo cream in any given sip. And while the cookie texture is harder to distinguish, its flavor dominates the shake. We ordered our milkshake topped with whipped cream and would advise against it. The real substance of this item is so delicious that you won't want to waste time on a generic sweet tuft of whipped cream before getting to the good stuff. The only reason this milkshake didn't rank higher is that for some, it could be a serious sweetness overload. Plus, not everyone likes chunks in their shake, even if they are Oreo cream chunks. Buckle up for some grade A hypocrisy here. After all that time spent slamming Five Guys' choice of cheese, the cheeseburger somehow manages to land this high on the list. Here's the thing. As discovered with the bacon cheese dog, the Kraft American goo is actually pretty decent when sandwiched between meats. The cheese melts onto and over the patties on either side and holds them together in a way that other, saucier options simply could not do. Not only does this make the burger more edible from a practical standpoint, but it also improves the flavor tenfold. Here it is, the mother of all Five Guys burgers. Remember our qualms with the bacon burger? It was beyond delicious between the crispy bacon and the handmade burger patties, but the one thing missing was some moisture to hold it all together. Enter American cheese. This burger is an explosion of dynamic flavor surrounded by the cheese we love to hate. If anything, this monstrous meaty gem is evidence that there is nothing better than doing the basics well. Except, of course, when you do all of the basics well and then combine them. You know Five Guys is doing something right when perhaps their most iconic menu item doesn't even come in first place. If you've never tried a Five Guys fry, drop what you're doing immediately and go grab a bag. This all-American delicacy, which comes in an overflowing soda cup, will spill out onto the floor of the brown paper bag every time. In fact, you know you've got fries from Five Guys when the bottom of the bag is completely discolored and practically drenched in peanut oil.
Now, you can't have baseball without a bat. You can't have a burger without fries.
Five Guys describes their fries as, quote, hot, fresh, boardwalk-style fries made to order each and every time. They are cooked twice, which allows for that perfect crispy outside, soft inside dichotomy with overwhelming flavor profiles of salt and peanut oil. They are as addictive as they are easy to eat. And considering the extra large serving size of every Five Guys fry order, they can be a bit dangerous. If you're going to get one basic from Five Guys, start with the fries. This bad boy is not much to look at, but it's not much to think about either, as a peanut butter milkshake is fairly standard. But wow, is this a taste sensation? There's more to this shake than meets the eye. Five Guys peanut butter milkshake has a vanilla base blended with natural creamy peanut butter. If this all sounds fairly standard, that's because it is. But there's a secret ingredient here that packs a real flavor punch. In an essentially Five Guys move, channeling both simplicity and innovation, they blend honey into this masterpiece. The honey makes for an extra sweet, extra natural flavor that just peanut butter and vanilla alone cannot achieve. Here you have it, the absolute best item on the illustrious Five Guys menu. Their Cajun-style fries are the perfect combo of classic and spicy. To construct these amazing fries, Five Guys starts with their regular boardwalk-style method. They are freshly cut and cooked twice with peanut oil oozing off of them. From there, Five Guys completely packs Cajun spice onto each and every fry. But while some may say the caked-on spice is too much, we'd argue that it is just enough. Any less, and these would taste like a slightly upgraded classic fry. Any more, and you'd lose that incredible peanut oil underlayer. If you don't know where to begin when ordering Five Guys, start here. Apprehensive about the heat? You can always opt for their classic fries and get the seasoning on the side.
When you get free toppings at Five Guys, have you ever wondered if they're truly free? What about the quality of the potatoes that go into making their French fries? Here's why this popular burger chain is so expensive. Unlike a lot of fast food chains, Five Guys is committed to freshness. This can come at a cost, though, which is most likely reflected in the price you pay for their burgers. The company refuses to work with frozen products, so in their kitchens, they only have coolers and no freezers. But exclusively using fresh ingredients has a catch: spoilage. To keep spoiled foods at a minimum, employees may have to prep 2 to 3 times a day, which in turn means more deliveries. Then when you take into account the fact that Five Guys also has multiple free toppings to choose from, along with their freshly baked bread that's delivered daily, it just seems logical that these costs would be calculated into the final menu prices. Five Guys uses only the freshest ingredients, but what about the overall quality? As you might imagine, the chain only invests in premium ingredients. Schweid & Sons is the beef purveyor for all of their locations. The specialty blend of ground chuck and sirloin used for Five Guys burgers isn't available for retail purchase, which makes it all the more tantalizing. It's comprised of 80% lean and 20% fat ground beef, which is the ideal lean-to-fat ratio according to Schweid & Sons. Then, of course, there are also Five Guys fresh, never frozen French fries. As reported by Food Republic, Every year, Five Guys buys more than 5% of the annual Idaho potato crop, which is mainly of the Burbank variety. That amounts to 140 million pounds of potatoes annually. As noted by Capital Press, around 100 Idahoan potato growers sell to Five Guys. Even the mayonnaise that Five Guys uses comes from a privately owned brand created by Morel and the corporate condiment king, Heinz. Five Guys is known for being rather generous with its portions, especially the fries, as a small order is certainly enough for 2 people. And it's not just the sides that are plentiful. The main attraction also arrives nice and hefty. According to Five Guys nutritional information, their standard burger patty hovers just around 3.35 ounces or 94 grams. In a taste-off between 2 competing burger chains, Dallas Observer calculated that In-N-Out's patties weigh in at 2 ounces. That means a single burger at Five Guys is almost 50% meatier than the competition. It almost seems comparable when you factor in cost, except that the standard Five Guys hamburger doesn't come with 1 patty, but 2. That means you're actually getting 6.7 ounces of premium beefy goodness.
I was just trying to make the beef boys proud.
So if the price for a single burger at Five Guys used to make you scratch your head, now you can see that you get what you pay for. Whether you love them or hate them, the burger buns at Five Guys are worth talking about. According to a post on the chain's Facebook, Five Guys buns contain 9 ingredients total: water, flour, sugar, oil, yeast, eggs, milk, salt, and sesame seeds. Compared to your standard burger bread, these buns are distinctly sweet and noticeably eggier. While some locations have a love-hate relationship with the price of the bread, they have to stick with synchronicity. Because if there's one thing that Five Guys takes seriously, it's keeping the menu items uniform. So even if the buns are a costly sore point, franchisees know that the product is premium and that they wouldn't be able to change it anyway. To keep up with demand, the company contracted 10 professional bakeries around the nation to produce their fabulous cake-like buns. According to Five Guys founder Jerry Morel, the bread is baked on a daily basis and picked up every afternoon at 3 p.m. The buns are then shipped out via plane or freight and sent to every Five Guys location so that they arrive in time for prep early the next morning, even if the nearest eatery is 400 miles away. That's a lot of buns and a lot of gas to account for.
Look at these big old buns.
As reported by Pitco, canola oil and peanut oil, or a blend of both, are the most commonly used fryer oils in the restaurant industry. That being said, eateries tend to steer clear of peanut oil because of the price, and not because, it's a threat to individuals with nut allergies or anything like that. People with peanut allergies have a reaction to the protein in the actual nut. Refined peanut oils, like the ones used by Five Guys, are considered clean, as they undergo multiple processes to eliminate any proteins. You would think that the significant increase in childhood nut allergies would cause peanut oil prices to plummet. So why is it the opposite? Peanut oil is one of the most nutrient-dense oils in the world, and it's high in oleic oils and vitamin E. There's been an ongoing societal shift towards healthier eating, especially in the fast and fast casual food industries. This growing interest has increased demand on peanut oil manufacturers, who are having trouble keeping up their supply. Ultimately, menu prices are going to reflect the price of goods needed for the production of menu items, so it would hardly be a surprise if the cost of peanut oil plays a factor in the pricing of Five Guys food. There is no such thing as a free topping. They have to be calculated into the cost of something somewhere. After all, Five Guys has to pay for those add-ons, as they don't just magically descend from the heavens. The chain offers 17 different toppings that you can add to your massive burger, and all of them are free. Though their menu only specifies 15: ketchup, mustard, relish, specialty mayonnaise, grilled onions, barbecue sauce, hot sauce, A1 steak sauce, onions, grilled mushrooms, Mount Hood pickles, fresh lettuce, tomatoes, jalapenos, and green peppers. But you can also add extra cheese and bacon without extra charge. It all comes down to this. Restaurants want to make money. They can advertise that additions are free because those food costs are minimal for the restaurant. But everything is calculated into the final price that you pay for your meal. This is done with food cost calculators, which measure food margin, percentages, and pricing based off of a restaurant's food costs. In the end, customers are paying for those free toppings, whether they realize it or not.
Maybe it's time someone paid.
Any company has to spend money to train employees. It's no different at Five Guys. Since the food is freshly prepped and made to order, cooks are expected to know what they're doing. To make sure they have what it takes to operate the grill, employees must acquire those skills through proper training. Potential fry cooks attend fry calibration class before being able to take on the fry station. Burger builders need to learn the specific way to arrange toppings, or the texture won't be right. Simply put, no employee is allowed to work a full day without attending Five Guys University. At this chain, consistency is key, and if something tastes off, then it reflects poorly on the brand. And not only does Five Guys offer thorough training for its staff, but full-time employees also qualify for retirement savings and health insurance. Furthermore, all workers are entitled to a paid meal per shift and 50% off food when they're not on the clock. The company also offers bonuses twice a year, and they have a tuition assistance program, which includes 3 different options: fully funded, partially funded, and personalized coaching that helps guide new students. If you've ever been to a Five Guys, you know that there's a lot going on visually. The walls are covered in white and red tiles, while the kitchen has an open floor plan with a shiny steel interior. An open floor plan means that everyone can see inside, meaning everyone can see everything. Because of this, cleanliness is especially important. To keep the stress off the cooks, complimentary peanuts are offered to customers. While this is meant as a kind gesture, it also means that there's more of a mess for employees to clean up, especially since customers have a tendency to just leave their peanut shells on the floor. If you factor in the extra sanitation and cleanliness regulations initiated by the FDA because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that means even more extra costs. Ultimately, the price of cleaning and sanitization means more money spent.
We care about our food, we care about our crew, and we care about you.
Jerry Morrell has been very open about Five Guys pricing. In an interview with Inc., he revealed, "Our food prices fluctuate. We do not base our price on anything but margins. We raise our prices to reflect whatever our food costs are. So if the mayonnaise guy triples his price, we pay triple for the mayonnaise. And then we'll increase the price of our product." Basically, depending on where you are in the world, the price you pay for your burger is going to vary. Take, for example, the 2016 debut of Five Guys in Belfast, Northern Ireland. While customers were happy with the burgers, they felt that the prices were shenanigans because they were higher than what Americans were paying. Five Guys defended the increased prices by citing taxes, the use of premium ingredients, and the cost of labor. On another occasion, a massive crop of tomatoes was cleaned out by hurricanes in Florida. Morrell received calls from franchisees who were pulling tomatoes off the menu because they were too expensive, as the price had jumped from $17 a case to $50. Every hamburger comes with 2 slices of tomato, so Morrell suggested that until the price decreased, only 1 slice was necessary. However, his sons intervened and made sure that franchisees kept 2 because of the importance of consistency. We've already established that Five Guys takes pride in its no-freezer policy. So if something is prepared fresh daily, that indicates that the items in the cold case are in fact prepared that morning and not the day prior. Five Guys embraces the fresh food factor because fresh makes food taste better. As reported by Foodprint, it's estimated that restaurants in the United States generate upwards of 22 to 33 billion pounds of food waste annually. Most restaurants have a general idea of how many customers they'll serve each day. This helps determine how much product will be needed, which ultimately leads to consistent pricing. Such food waste forecasting can be done by using prep calculators. It's also worth noting that in a study by Unilever, 47% of diners said they would be willing to spend more money to eat at a restaurant that actively tries to reduce its food waste output. Perhaps Five Guys has taken this sentiment into account. It's Jerry Morrell's firm belief that the best marketing and advertising comes via word of mouth, not some billboard on a busy highway or a commercial that airs all over primetime TV. Five Guys also doesn't solicit reviews. Instead, they use mystery shoppers as their main form of advertising. Morrell told Forbes in 2012 that his company collects 1.5% from their franchisees to cover the cost of mystery shoppers that frequent each location twice per week. According to a person who posted on Quora claiming to be a mystery shopper for multiple businesses, working for Five Guys was one of their better gigs. As the mystery shopper put it, "I was particularly pleased to see that corporate watched a number of important details. They asked that we observe how the fries were cooked, the quality of the finished product, and the cleanliness of the restaurant, among a number of details important for good customer service. This attention to detail is certainly reflected in the high quality of the Five Guys experience, but it of course comes at a price."
The price is wrong.
What started in 1986 as a small family-owned burger joint in Virginia has grown into a massive fast casual chain with legions of supporters. There's a good chance there are things you don't know about this fan favorite, so here's what you need to know before you eat there again. If you can't foresee yourself having the patience to wait in line for the Five Guys cheeseburger and fries you've been craving all week, you always have the option to order online. That way, when you get to the restaurant, your food is ready and waiting for you, and you can happily pass by all the people waiting in line because they didn't take advantage of the amazing technology we have at our disposal today. Some locations even have an advanced order option where you can order online to pick up at a later time or date. Another bonus, when you order online or in their app, you can also pay in advance with a credit card so you don't have to hassle with that when you pick up your food. The goal is to get that burger as quickly as possible, isn't it? For the ultimate inconvenience, some locations even offer delivery, and you'll still get it just the way you like it. If you or someone in the crew you're planning to hit up Five Guys with has a peanut allergy, you might want to take some extra precautions. For starters, the chain cooks all of its French fries in pure peanut oil, but some studies have shown that many people with a peanut allergy can safely eat foods fried in highly refined peanut oil. Still, it's always a good idea to check with your doctor first. Aside from the fries, the breakdown of potential allergens in their menu dictates that peanuts or peanut oil might be present in the milkshake base and some of the add-ins. If you're okay with peanut oil, there's one more potential concern: the free peanuts that are available as a snack to those waiting on their order to be prepared. There are enormous boxes of peanuts sitting in the middle of the restaurant, and the shells can make a bit of a mess. So, needless to say, there's a lot of peanut action happening in each Five Guys restaurant. While there are menu items that do not have any trace of peanuts, depending on how severe the allergy is, all that peanut essence floating around could be a deal breaker for some potential diners. In spite of that, Five Guys is showing no signs of changing their peanut-centric menu.
I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Since when?
Birth.
When it comes to Five Guys burgers, there are 15 toppings to choose from, and there isn't a limit on how many of those you can add to your burger. The combos are so great, in fact, that there are actually over 250,000 different ways you can order a Five Guys burger. It's a little overwhelming, yet so wonderful. It almost makes you tear up a little, right? They've got grilled onions and raw onions, A1 sauce and barbecue sauce, and of course, your standard lettuce, tomato, ketchup, mustard, and mayo, just to name a few of the delights. Did we mention they're all free? There is no first two toppings are free rule followed by a different extra price for each added topping. You simply order a burger, cheeseburger, bacon burger, or bacon cheeseburger, then get to customizing. There are also little versions of all those base burgers on the menu, which means you'll only get one patty instead of the standard two. A visit to Five Guys is definitely a chance to get creative and not have to stress about what that creativity is going to cost you. If you think you're gonna roll up to Five Guys asking for a medium rare hamburger, think again. While there are lots of different ways to top your burger, there is only one way it can be cooked, and that's well done. This is apparently an across-the-board Five Guys policy that every location must enforce. It's alleged that they maintain this protocol mostly for food safety reasons, and that's completely legitimate. Nobody wants their burger with a side of E. coli or salmonella, after all, but it could also be because they know this will make for a uniform taste at every location. It also makes the whole cooking process that much more efficient since cooks aren't waiting on the various burger temperatures in your order to be executed to perfection. If you're looking to customize the temperature of your ground beef to something below the FDA's recommended 160 degrees Fahrenheit, you should probably hit up a steakhouse, not your local fast casual burger joint. A lot of folks balk at the idea of sharing their fries. If you want fries, get your own order. However, in the case of Five Guys, if you're looking at just 1 to 2 additional dining companions, you might want to opt for just one of you getting an order of fries.
There are several sacred things in this world that you don't ever mess with. One of them happens to be another man's fries.
One order of fries doesn't get you a large cup. There's usually some more tossed into the bag for good measure. Of course, with giant portions come giant numbers. According to their website's nutritional information, the large comes with 1,314 calories and a whopping 57 grams of fat. Compare that to an order of large fries from McDonald's, which only has 510 calories. To be fair, the McDonald's order does contain fewer fries than the Five Guys version. Still, Five Guys' regular size fry, which is only slightly better, weighs in at 953 calories and 41 grams of fat. It's not rocket science to deduce that heftier portions of fried food translates to heftier amounts of fat, calories, and sodium. It's just something to keep in mind when ordering, even if it's just to avoid wasting food. If a regular size order is enough to feed the whole group, it might make more sense for your wallet and your waistline. Most fast food lovers can probably agree on one thing. There is nothing worse than a soggy French fry. And if the thought of soggy fries make you shudder with dread, you can always order your fries well done when you go to Five Guys. Getting the perfect French fry is very important to the Five Guys brand, and they go through a meticulous process of making sure they always deliver on the delicious fries front. Beyond their usual recipe, though, they're happy to fry their signature hand-cut potatoes slightly longer in the peanut oil in order to ensure plenty of crunch. It's not necessarily something they advertise, but it definitely falls in line with one of the many ways you can customize your order at the chain. It might take a little bit longer to get your food, but for someone passionate about the art of the crispy French fry, it seems like a perfectly reasonable sacrifice to make. Did that delicious meal you enjoyed at Five Guys even happen if you didn't make its presence known in your corner of the internet? And if you did you hashtag the photo to your full advantage? If you post a photo of yourself chowing down on some Five Guys on Instagram and use the hashtag #FiveGuysFans, they might just feature you on their social media channels. If you're trying to build your own following, it couldn't hurt since the chain has well over 1 million fans who follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Look, are burgers the route to fame and fortune? Maybe not, but getting a shout out on their social media might just be a fun distraction for the day. Live your life and take pictures of your food. You never know what could happen. Also, don't be a monster. Make sure you actually follow the Five Guys Instagram account before you hashtag. No one likes a tag without a follow. Can you imagine finally giving into that burger, fries, and a shake craving you've been having for weeks, getting in your car and driving to Five Guys, only to discover that this particular Five Guys location does not serve milkshakes? The horror is unspeakable, but it could happen to you. Make sure you check before you head to Five Guys in your area because as their website confirms, they do not serve milkshakes at all of their locations. This just seems important to note, especially for a first-time Five Guyser, because if you're gunning to get the full experience and are thwarted by a lack of shakes, you may never recover. For those locations that do serve up the tasty treats, you can look forward to adding in whatever mix-ins you choose, like bacon, salted caramel, and coffee, to name a few. If the words burgers and fries are in the actual name of the establishment, you should know what to expect, and it's not going to be raw, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free grain bowls. Having said that, at Five Guys there are a couple of options in line with some of today's popular diets. The burger-centric chain offers bunless burger bowls to all the low-carb eaters of the world. You can order everything that you would put on a hamburger, but it comes without the bread. Another reason you might need to skip the bun at Five Guys is because they don't offer a gluten-free bread option. While you can order your patty wrapped in lettuce, their only bun choice comes packed full of flour. So if losing the bun doesn't make you lose your mind, you can definitely keep your low-carb or gluten-free goals intact and enjoy a meal at Five Guys.
Where's my sandwich?
Most folks hear Five Guys and automatically think burgers, but the chain also has hot dogs on their menu. The kosher-style dogs are cut lengthwise and grilled, which isn't your typical hot dog protocol. So points for creativity, but maybe no points for price point. Why not? The basic dog comes in at a little over $5. That's pretty steep for a tube of processed meat on a bun. The only consolation is that you can customize your order with any of the usual burger toppings, so that might help quell the sticker shock. In 2016, Business Insider did a side-by-side comparison of hot dogs from some popular fast food chains, and Five Guys didn't really measure up when it came to price. While the comparison indicates that the Five Guys dog was slightly heftier than the rest, it still seems like you can find something similar for much less elsewhere. Maybe stick to what always works at Five Guys: burgers and fries. Yes, it seems that unicorns do exist, and Five Guys' ultra-cool secret menu is proof of that. Secret menus have become sort of an underground sensation in the fast food world, and Five Guys doesn't disappoint, particularly when it comes to the burger sandwich mashup that is the double grilled cheeseburger. The Divine Sandwich uses 2 grilled cheese sandwiches in place of what would normally be the bottom and top of a traditional hamburger bun. In between the grilled cheese sandwiches, you choose the number of beef patties, and, of course, the toppings are also all up to you. The bread they use for the grilled cheese is inverted burger buns that taste like Texas toast when they're grilled. So if your mouth wasn't already watering, well, there you go. It doesn't really get any more delicious than that, unless you fill it with bacon instead of beef. The Five Guys tantalizing secret menu has a few standout items, and that includes their version of another burger chain favorite. If you are a die-hard, ride-or-die, hardcore, loyal In-N-Out burger fan, Five Guys might have a solution for you when you find yourself miles and miles from the nearest In-N-Out location. So basically anywhere that's not Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, or Texas, but craving an animal-style burger. Just order a Five Guys cheeseburger with lettuce, tomato, pickles, and grilled onions as your topping, and ask for a side of mayo, ketchup, and mustard. Mix all those side condiments together and spread it onto the burger, or dip the burger in the mixture. The Five Guys animal-style burger may not be exactly the same as In-N-Out's, but it's about as close as you can get when you're not on the western side of the country.
When it comes to awesomely good French fries, the fried spuds at Five Guys are among the best. Five Guys makes their fries from whole potatoes, so that's one reason why they taste so good. Here's everything else you need to know about how Five Guys fries get made. Pretty much every fast food chain and famous restaurant out there has a calling card. That can be one food or ingredient that they set out to do better than any other competitor in their region, or a couple of dishes that complement each other. Chicken sandwiches at Popeyes, for example, or Egg McMuffins and hash browns on the McDonald's breakfast menu. For Five Guys, French fries have been a signature food at the chain from the very start. As Chad Morrell, son of founder Jerry Morrell, explained to Food Republic, "Fries are our passion. They are the hardest thing we have to do, but people think that it's the easiest. If you don't do them right, they're still kinda good and people don't complain. But that doesn't cut it with us." Perhaps that's why, while other fast food burger spots put the emphasis in their names squarely on the burgers, Five Guys put fries on an equal footing by calling it Five Guys Burgers and Fries. And what would a fast food burger be without a side of fries?
You can do a million things with potatoes, but French fries? What's not to love about French fries?
Potatoes are an amazingly versatile root. It's believed that they originally came from Peru and have been a part of people's diet in the region for 8,000 years. Today, the International Potato Center states that there are more than 4,000 types of potato, the vast majority of which are so regional that you will never taste them. Some have more starch, while others are waxy and only grow at a certain altitude. Only a very specific set of potatoes make it to the Five Guys restaurant locations, though.
Hold the phone. These are not just any potatoes we're talking about here.
In a Facebook post, the Five Guys marketing team explained that most of its potatoes come from Idaho above the 42nd parallel. Potatoes are sourced from Washington in the few months of the year that Idaho potatoes are too soft, according to Yahoo. In explaining how Five Guys chooses their potatoes in an interview with Inc., Jerry Morrell had this to say. "Potatoes are like oak trees. The slower they grow, the more solid they are. We like northern potatoes because they grow in the daytime when it's warm, but then they stop at night when it cools down." If you've ever walked into a Five Guys, then you're familiar with the sacks of potatoes that are scattered around every location of the restaurant. Those Five Guys branded sacks, which are all filled with whole potatoes, aren't just for show. In fact, they're the very same potatoes that get fresh cut and made into French fries. A Five Guys location can go through about 500 pounds of potatoes a day, one employee told Destination America. That's a lot of whole potatoes that need to be cut down to size. For that, employees use what's called the monster cutter. It's essentially a crank that squeezes a potato through a grate with holes that are perfect French fry size. Workers pull the lever to hand-cut each potato. Other quality fast food chains have tried the fresh potato method to little success. Shake Shack, for one, had a short fresh potato run before returning to pre-cut and frozen crinkle-cut fries. While it's not like Five Guys employees are sitting in the kitchen with a knife and meticulously hand-chopping each French fry, this fresh-cut method is much more involved than ordering a bag of pre-cut frozen potatoes. It also keeps the fry line moving. The Five Guys sourcing policy of sticking to farms above the 40-second parallel and the laborious fresh-cut process isn't the only thing that sets Five Guys French fries apart. There's a number of other steps that employees have to take before overstuffing your bag with fries as well. Chad Morrell told Food Republic that the chopped potatoes are blanched, which means they're cooked in really hot water for 3 minutes. Doing so reduces the starchiness on the outside of the potatoes and makes the cut-up spuds cook more evenly. Then the fries are pre-cooked before being fried when the customer orders. Water, it turns out, is an important factor in cooking the ultimate Five Guys French fries. As Jerry Morrell explained to Inc., "We actually soak our fries in water. When we pre-fry them, the water boils, forcing steam out of the fry, and a seal is formed so that when they get fried a second time, they don't absorb any oil and they're not greasy." According to NBC, every location in the Five Guys chain has no timers in the kitchens because good cooks learn to recognize when food's ready. This forces employees to learn how to cook by sight and feel for every item on the menu, including the fries. While this is a lot harder than, say, setting a timer and forgetting it until you hear beeping, the processes that Five Guys put in place ensures employees learn to recognize a consistent fry texture and taste. Still, it's not like the cooks are flying blind. The quality would be all over the map if employees didn't have at least some sort of method to make sure each fry at each location turns out the same. When Five Guys was featured on Destination America, an employee described the smush test as the way to make sure the batch is good to go. After the first cook, if you push down on the fry and it sticks together, then it's a good cook. If it snaps, that's no good. Then for the final cooking section, which takes between 2 and 2.5 minutes, workers know the French fries are ready to take out of the oil when the fries float to the top of the basket and the bubbles go away. In the end, each fry has a golden crunchy outside and the texture of a baked potato on the inside. Other than the sacks of potatoes all over each Five Guys location, one of the most noticeable things a customer interacts with are the free peanuts. By some accounts, those peanuts are there to distract customers as the food cooks, since making food from scratch takes a little longer than your typical fast food joint. Yet those aren't the only place you'll find a peanut product. It turns out the fries rely on peanuts as well. In September 2014, Five Guys tweeted this: "We use 100% refined peanut oil because it does a great job of sealing in flavor." This sounds like a bummer for the millions of people in the United States who are allergic to peanuts, but peanut oil is on the safer side because of how it's processed. Essentially, refined peanut oil lacks the stuff that gives people an allergic reaction. There's nothing to be done about all those free peanuts, however, so maybe having someone go in to order takeout for you is the best option. Five Guys is famous for topping off every order of fries with more fries.
Whenever you get an order of Five Guys famous fries, you always get a topper.
It doesn't matter which size you get, there will be one full container and then a bunch of fries outside of the container too. Perhaps you've heard them called bag fries. All the extras may make you feel like you're getting a bargain on fries that clearly take a fair amount of work to cook, but it's really all part of a clever marketing plan. In a Reddit AMA, one Five Guys employee wrote, "When you order a small fry, for example, but they do this for all sizes, you are paying for all of the fries that go into the bag. That extra scoop is kind of an illusion. They told us during training that it's to make customers think they're getting a big bargain." The psychology behind the extra fries is simple. People love feeling like they're getting more than they paid for, so giving more fries breeds goodwill. The blog, The Self-Employed, explains that the cost of the extra fries is already built into the menu price the customer is charged. So while it may seem like you're getting a bunch of freebies, you're actually getting exactly what you paid for. That doesn't stop the good vibes from extra fries, though. After reading about how precise every single step has to be for workers to deliver consistent fries at every location day in and day out, you'd be forgiven for thinking that there's only one way to eat said fries. But you'd be wrong. To start with, there is the condiment bar. Every Five Guys location keeps the condiment selection stocked with the usual ketchup and mustard, along with barbecue sauce, hot sauce, A1 sauce, mayonnaise, and Heinz malt vinegar. Then there are some secret menu-style customizations you can make outside of the basic sauce selection. In a Reddit thread, a Five Guys employee listed 2 of the best ways to customize the fries. All you have to do is ask for them the right way. The first takes advantage of the double cooking process. Rather than let the fries go through both, you can have a bunch of crunchy fries if you ask the employees to instead cut them in half and cook them well done. The other option is to make what the employee calls confetti fries. First, mix barbecue sauce, mayonnaise, and Cajun seasoning together, and then dump the sauce into the bag with the fries and shake it all together. According to Taste of Home, Five Guys fries are the most unhealthy fries in America. Case in point, a small fry has 528 calories and a large has 1,314. As Taste of Home points out, that's as many calories as a Five Guys hamburger patty, bun, and milkshake combined. And then there's the fat and salt, 57 grams of fat and 1,327 milligrams of sodium. That's not to say that the fries are necessarily worse for you than your average fry. It's more about the amount of fries you get every time you receive an order. The people in charge of Five Guys are well aware of how the extra fries impact the restaurant's healthiness rating. Here's what Jerry Morrell had to say to Food Republic. Every time they do a calorie count on us, it looks pretty bad. For many people, thin and crispy fries are the most familiar. It's the style that you'll find at McDonald's, Burger King, and other fast food spots. Yet crispy fries aren't what you'll find at Five Guys, and that's kind of the point. Instead, you'll find boardwalk-style fries, styles after one very specific restaurant on one very specific boardwalk. As Chad Morrell explained to Food Republic, there was one local chain started in 1929 that he and his family loved. We grew up going to Ocean City, Maryland, where there were all sorts of stands that sold boardwalk fries. But we loved Thrasher's the best. We decided that we had to do it like Thrasher's. Boardwalk fries, according to a Food Network recipe, use peanut oil. They also have that mashed potato-like center rather than being all crunch. Think of them as similar to the frites that are served all over France and Belgium. Of course, not everyone is a fan. On a Reddit AMA with a Five Guys manager, one regular said that their primary complaint with Five Guys is that the restaurant doesn't cook their fries long enough. The manager responded by writing, "Technically, we're not supposed to cook crispy fries, although we've done that multiple times at my store before. Our fries are boardwalk style, which means that they're typically firm on the outside with a mashed potato interior."